And buonasera a tutti. Good evening, everybody. It is What's the Scoop, episode number 103, just past 7:30 on Friday. Sorry, whoa, let's try that again. Thursday, February 19th, 2026. Slightly smaller group for the moment. That won't be the case all night long. One of our co-hosts, Brandon, is going to be here in a few moments.
Birthday
Excuse me.
sellies, man. Birthday celebrations. Busy week for the
Yes,
man.
yes, that is the case. Real quick, can you hear me okay, Brandon? I mean, can you hear me okay, Rob?
Yes, I can. I can hear you perfectly fine. You should be good to go.
Okay. Well, okay, because I heard you just fine a moment ago before we went live, and now you sound all robotic to me.
Oh my goodness gracious.
So
Can you hear me
I'm
good
concerned
now
by
or
that.
no?
No, you sound very robotic to me.
Oh my god. Okay. There we go. Am I better now?
Here, give me a second. Let me see if it's my headphones because this is not good.
This is a mess. I literally switched on my Wi-Fi and I have multiple Wi-Fis that I can use, so it
All
makes it
right,
easier.
it's definitely my headphones then. So because we are already live, I'm gonna keep the headphones off for right now. I hope that that's
Yeah,
okay.
you can leave them
Um,
off. You can leave them off for
yeah.
now. Go for it. You're
All
good.
right, yeah, because I just want to power right through this. And again, my apologies to those who are already on. That was not the case. Literally right before we went live. So just gonna work past that glitch for
Life
right now.
happens. Life
Yeah, and
happens, man. It's okay.
move right forward. So Rob, as we were saying, we're going to kick off right now. Brandon will join us in a few moments, and as usual, no shortage of matters to discuss today. Excuse me, sorry. We're gonna jump into that topic you wanted to have in a
I
when
can't do that right now. I need Brandon. Need Brandon to do
yeah,
it.
well,
So
yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Is we'll do that when Brandon gets here. So
yeah, I
we'll
can't do it right now.
let's start with the Olympics that happened today, since it's the most recent thing. Gold for the USA.
I'm not surprised. But that was hell. I mean, it was sucky. I mean, like, and I kind of figured, just you kind of have to be a little timid, I guess, is the best way to put it. For the hockey side, um, this game is very much how I think U.S. and Canada on the men's side is gonna go. I just think
Okay.
Canada's gonna win the thing because, honestly, the USA, the biggest issue I had was we can pick up the pace on Canada. We just didn't want to do it early, and it kind of cost us a lot. I
Right.
get it though. I understand why they played how they played. It ended up going good. My biggest takeaway is this US team is easily the greatest, or if not one of the greatest Olympic hockey teams for US, but for just the history of the Olympic Games. This US team is one of the best of all time, men or women. I mean, think about what they did throughout the whole. Their games were in a positive way until the gold medal final. Snooze fests. They won games like 5-1, 5-0. They were just nothing, right? And so this roster was just this is the best. This is the best. Like, at least on the women's side, this is the greatest roster we've ever seen. A
Right.
lot of that is due to the PWHL because, I think their entire first line was Seattle players, I believe, their entire first line. So, a lot of it is due to the professional league and just being able to take that over. I mean, you had I think it was Seattle. I think New York. I think had aligned it to their own. They just kept teammates together. And the camaraderie was everywhere. But again, like that gold medal was more of a struggle than it had to be. But yeah, this is the greatest women's hockey team we've ever seen. And I don't think it's very close. I think you could make an argument, at least in the modern era. I mean, 2010, the 2010 gold team for the men's side in Canada is maybe close. And then if anyone else wants to chime in on some of the other historical teams that I can't think of at the moment, but you have to put them up there just from the other dominance. And I get it, on the women's side, the gap between US, Canada, and everyone else is much larger. But I don't think it takes away from the fact that this team is just insane. Top to bottom, they were just unbelievable. But then transitioning to the men's side, this is about how I expect. If we get USA Canada on the men's side, this is about how I expect the game will go. I just think Canada's better. I look, the game against Czechia, I was of Canada. I was like, okay, but they're better throughout the game. You could just see with the shots again into the men's side. But I look at Canada and I'm like, top to bottom, they're better. And to be fair, Canada and the US haven't really had to play an exorbitant amount of defense. We saw that with Sweden yesterday for the men, that they kind of had to, pedal to the metal. We'll see what happens. And then same thing with Canada tomorrow against Finland. We'll see if Crosby plays or not. But yeah, I switch. So yeah, great for the women, but I think it's a very close kind of. The best I can put it is that this gold medal game today, I think, is a preview for what we're going to see on Sunday. Except I think Canada is just way better, top to bottom. And I don't like to say it, but I can't see the U.S. winning if that's what we get. I really can't, just because I think this Canada team is so much better, and I haven't been happy with how the U.S. men have played. So these games have not been comfortable at points, and it's just like with Canada minus the Czechia game, they've been more than comfortable. Yeah, it's lesser competition to an extent, but yeah, no, for me, I just think we're gonna see the same that we saw today in the women's side, but I think it's the reverse. I think Canada's better on the men's side. But what is your takeaway so far with both of the tournaments?
Yeah, excuse me. Now again, first off, what the audience and the viewers need to know is that you've been watching almost the entire Olympics in real time. You've not been waiting for a lot of the later viewing on most events.
Yeah.
So
most of them, I focus more on the hockey towards the end, like towards this week, because this is what we're going to talk about on the show. But yeah, I haven't missed much. I missed Canada Czechia yesterday because I thought Canada was going to smack them, and I thought there was no point. But hey,
I'm emphasizing that, one, because your sleep schedule has been psychotic, but two, because but two, moreover, and more seriously, because you have watched a substantial more greater amount and wider swath of these games than I've gotten to. So I just want to make that clear that we are not in any way commenting on this from a similar breadth of information. But I will say, I think it is pretty easy to say that the women's hockey team and the women's U.S. hockey and the men's U.S. hockey, I don't think that the same expectations were held for the U.S. men's hockey this year than were for the U.S. women's hockey. Which, as long as we're talking about the U.S. women's hockey, I want to shout out our local gal, Ms. Haley Wynn, who was on that team. She's from Rochester, and if you guys haven't seen, there was a lot of news that went public about her brothers and their videos showing support for her, which just was a really cool and wholesome thing.
Did they show that today on the broadcast? I think they showed it today on the broadcast, right? Yeah. So that was really cool to see.
So I encourage y'all to go check that out. Again, congratulations, Haley Wynn, way to represent the 585, and also just a really big ups for her brothers and showing the support that they did and that they have been. I think that's just awesome. That's what it's all about. Kurt says, "What's up, boys?" Comes in on Facebook.
What's up?
Going back to your, what's up, Kurt? How you doing? Appreciate you tuning in. It was funny. Kurt asked if he should be on around 7:30, and I said we start closer to 7, and we started today. Of course, is the day we started at 7:30.
Yeah, because
yeah,
things
yeah,
proceed.
yeah. For the obvious reasons, like we said, Brandon will be here shortly. And obviously a belated happy birthday to him. But again, going back to your actual question, because I did my own Olympic event by the way I circled around that long distance answer. But
Oh my
going back
God,
to
have you watched ski mountaineering? Did you watch ski mountaineering? Did you watch that earlier? Bro, ski mountaineering is special. That sport is special.
If coming on here, if someone asked me to define ski mountaineering for them on this show, I would have to pass that off to you because
Dude,
I can't tell you what that sport is.
The way you circled around, I'm like, bro, you haven't seen the highlights for ski mountaineering, bro. Oh my God. So this is a sport. Really quick, side tangent. I apologize. Ski mountaineering is a sport that basically was invented during World War II, World War One, maybe something like that. Basically because they were in the cold most of the time. So basically, the way I understand it. Oh my God. Oh wait. Okay, wait. I can find Scott Hansen's thing. Anyway, continue on your thing. I can find Scott Hansen explaining it better than I could.
Yeah. So, just again, based on that type, what I talked about before. Going back to your question about the men's, and how they look going into these last few games here. I know that their most difficult game or their most competitive game by far was this most recent one against Sweden, and that was. But I know that also all the games before that against Latvia, Denmark, and Germany were far less competitive, or at least perceived as far less competitive.
No, they were not. No, they were not.
Let me rephrase that. Perceived as far less competitive.
Well, yeah, perceived. But guess what? We go to the first and second period, fucking dying and losing my head. Anyway, I apologize.
You're fine. I'm just saying that I'm just saying that this game in particular, because it went into overtime, was only a one goal game as opposed to the other ones that I think all of them were 4-goal games, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, other than Germany was over really quick. But the entire thing is that Sweden actually had NHL players, and that had a roster of anyway.
Yeah. So that's that is the differentiation there is that. You're gonna go into a game against Slovakia, which I think is tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. It's a 3:10 start on NBC.
Yeah, it's a week of this, and I'm still struggling to figure out what they're telling me versus about time and whatnot. But
NBCOlympics.com, man, look through the schedule every day.
No,
That's what I do.
My point just being that there are places that will tell me what it is in the Eastern time, and there are places that will tell me what it is in time over there. And then
exactly. NBCOlympics.com. NBCOlympics.com has in your area. I know exactly what the time is for every event.
Yeah. So I'll have to bookmark that on my DuckDuckGo. But pardon me. But again. Sorry, this is the longest answer in history to absolutely say nothing at all.
It's my fault. I'm interrupting way too much. Go ahead.
Right, but anyways, to go back to the original question, I think that there's obviously it's not to say that there's any sort of slouches on the Team USA. I mean, there's. I know your guy. Shucks.
Quinn, who scored the goal and isn't on my team anymore. But
yeah, I know that some of the top forwards in the league. I know that there's a lot of guys who are Jack Hughes fans that we both know. But I know that in particular, Jack Eichel has done really well. But the fact of it being is it's just so difficult for me in particular as somebody who just has admittedly not followed hockey and I've said that before, not followed hockey as much. All I see is what I see in these little pockets. So they look like a team that should be able to hang with anybody over these next 3 days. To
Not
me,
Canada. Not Canada. Canada minus yesterday is sweeping everybody. I mean, Canada to me, like, I think defensively, the biggest thing right now for me is defensively.
yeah,
Watching, and again, Czechia aside, because that was insane.
yeah.
And again, it's not really an aside, but you're always going to have tough games in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Defensively, I don't think Team USA knows what they're doing. I look at the first and second periods against a lot of
Even
these lesser
they've
teams.
and that's the question I want to ask you because you said that that's the second time you've said that they've only allowed one goal in 3 of their 4 games.
Doesn't matter. Look at how you're playing. Look at how you're playing. Look like that Latvia game. I was like, yeah, it's Latvia. You shouldn't have had 2 periods of lollygagging. And I understand some of it of the ice is messed up and these things are,
That was the next question I was going to ask you is what your evaluation was of that
of the ice. It's
of
the
of just
worst. It's
of just how that
the go. Sorry, go.
how in specifics that's affected their play over these first 4 games.
It's well, the ice as a whole in these Olympics have been terrible. I mean,
Right.
speed skating. I think it's like speed skating and figure skating are sharing the same ice, which is dumb because they're different sports.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
odd.
I think they are, and so I'm
Excuse
like,
me.
so no, the ice in general has been terrible. I don't think it's necessarily. It's just spacing, dude. We talked about this before. It's just spacing.
Right.
It's just the spacing. And again, I really hated watching the women's games these last few days
Yeah.
because I was like, they can't like body check, and it's kind of stupid. Like they're playing, like US and Canada are playing some physical hockey on the women's side, and they're just not able to be fully physical, which again really limits what they can do on the ice on the women's side. For the men's, yeah, the flow of the game, it doesn't really seem to affect them because I think at this point they've adjusted to it. But yeah, from a viewing experience, it's you can clearly see that it's just truncated, and it's annoying. But I
Mhm.
also I'm at the place with Team USA where I'm like, I don't think this should be an excuse. And again, I'm
That's
not.
fair
I'm
because I know they
yeah.
are. I know that they are several games in at this point. So I think that the more games and more experience you have, I do think that it lessens the justification of using that, not using it as a crutch, but as that being a something because again, everybody's playing on the same ice.
Well, yeah, in a way, but that's the thing. I can't really That's the thing. I can't quantify that Canada Czechia game very well
Okay.
because I still look at it and I went, Canada was better. We're gonna win no matter what.
Yeah.
Whereas when I looked at how they played against Latvia and then the US against Latvia and then also Denmark, it was like, dude, like why are we what are these first 2 periods of these games? They're not quality hockey. They just weren't. And then, Sweden, that was my biggest concern because Sweden is actually incredibly talented. And look, we went into overtime. Again, that was also kind of a gold medal thought was Sweden and the US. Slovakia, I don't think is going to have as much. Like, I don't see the US losing that at all.
Mhm.
And then obviously, I don't know. And then we go ahead to tomorrow. Canada, Finland's way more interesting because does Crosby play? Yes or no? We still don't actually know. I think that affects what they want to do. And again, Finland is a top country. They were in the
Right.
4 Nations, obviously. So I mean, but I look at it and I go, defensively, it looks like both Canada and the U.S. didn't really care until they had to care. But in saying that, I think in those instances where they did have to care, Canada was better. And I think
Mhm.
I said like 2 games in, and I still kind of feel this way, unfortunately.
Yes.
I still think Canada wins the gold medal game 4-0. I don't think the U.S. has much of a shot. I really don't. Because I am, and I say this as someone who wants it to be close, and I just think
Yeah.
Canada's miles better. I just think they're miles across the board.
Mhm.
And the cohesion that they're playing, and again, the Czechia game aside, because it's just hard to quantify a game where you have 20 more shots of their team and you had to go in overtime. That's really difficult to quantify.
Right.
But that's how I look at it. That's just how I approach it. I look at it and go, the US, I think, gets lost defensively at critical moments in games, doesn't know how to handle takeaways as good as Canada does. I think they're gonna struggle. I have some confidence, but I don't have a lot when you have that Canada group of just amazingly talented players that is just in a class of its own, it feels like, for most of these games. I'm very nervous. I'm very nervous for get that. Now, again, without Crosby, Finland's going to give them a run. It wouldn't surprise me if Finland wins that game tomorrow. Then this whole conversation goes out the window. But that's always been my approach. Give me 1 second, Scoop. Go off on this a bit. I'll be right back in a second, okay?
I was going to ask you a question.
Go. Ask a question before I go really quick. Yeah, what's your question?
All right. So the question I was going to ask you is, let's say that scenario does manifest, and Finland does upset Canada. Does that alter how you see the opportunity for US to pull it off?
I think they easily win. I don't think they're
US
that
or
much
Finland?
of a match. US. I think
Okay.
they would go into the gold medal game knowing, hey, we're the better team. And I think Canada goes in knowing we're their team. But again, the US is healthier right now. It matters.
So you think
Crosby's a huge concern for me. If he's not playing, I'm very concerned.
So you think you just said you think we're the better team than Canada, but you still think Canada would beat us?
No. What I'm saying is we're the better team than Finland, but I think Canada is way better than the US.
Okay, yeah, I misunderstood something you said there.
No.
Okay,
What I'm saying is Finland, I don't think is that much of a match. I think it is
I got it
close, but I think the US is better and they're healthier. So again, Crosby has something to do with it. But even without Crosby, I just look at Canada and I'm like, how does the US defend that? What do they do defensively? I have no idea. I have no idea. All right, I'm gonna be right back. 1 second. Go on a tangent. Go on a Yankees tangent. I got you.
Well, I'm gonna pivot because I'll use this opportunity to kick off what we were going to talk about baseball wise, and then I'll get your take when you get back. So wow, this is going to be odd. I haven't been on my own here in like 40 or 50 episodes, but excuse me. But yeah, so with that being said, coming off of that, we'll pivot to Major League Baseball right now. And for those of you who didn't hear this, first off, a little bit of background. We've talked about this several times on the show, but if you haven't been watching the show very long, or if you are somebody who kind of is a part-time follower of Major League Baseball, basically the collective bargaining agreement, the CBA, is set to expire in the next year. And there's a long-standing belief and fear that the MLBPA, the Players Association, and the MLB rather, it's not the MLB, and I hate when people do that, so I'm my mistake for doing it myself. Basically, there's a long-standing expectation that those two groups will not be able to come to an agreement, and it will result in a lockout of the players and a full-on labor stoppage as the sides appear set to not be able to come to an agreement. There's been bitterness between both. There's been anger between both. Going back to the labor discussions from last time, which was everything during the COVID disaster, they were one of their biggest brags between MLB and MLBPA was that they had gone about 3 decades without any labor disputes, which no other league could say. and now they're set to have their second in 5 years.
Well,
Which is
yeah,
an
COVID, as you said.
yeah.
COVID, as you said.
This is going to be their second in 5 years, which is absolutely a black eye for the game, which was finally looking like it was on its way back to being that number 2 sport or that number 2 league in America behind the NFL, looking like it was poking its nose back up against the NBA.
Whoa! What did you just say?
Go and look at the revenues. Go and look at the viewership.
Soccer's more popular in America right now than baseball, at least between the millennial demographic. At least between 18 and 35, soccer's more popular right now.
I wasn't talking about one demographic though. I was talking about holistically. And
yeah, but you can't because we don't because if we're talking about TV revenue, they only care about 18 to 40. They don't care about anything else.
But I wasn't just talking about TV revenue.
Okay, good point. But yeah.
But anyway, so going back to so which was having a lot of upward momentum finally, thanks to which I never thought I would say, thanks to some of the things that Rob Manfred was doing, even though I think he's been largely a hogwash commissioner, largely a dog water commissioner. Largely, I think he's been a dog water commissioner, and I think the only reason why he hasn't looked worse is because the other guys he's going up against are Gary Bettman, Adam Silver, and Roger Goodell, even though Roger Goodell looks like he could get away with anything at this point.
Yeah. But can I jump on this though, just to add to your point though? Baseball, I think.
Yeah, well, I haven't made my point yet, but go ahead.
No, but sorry, but baseball, I think, while again I focus on the demographic pieces because I think that's what they're focused on. As your wonderful cat goes on the screen, I do think baseball as a game. I will say this as a fan and getting more into baseball. I think as a game is in a really good place. I just wish it was marketed better. The marketing is not good right now for baseball. It's just not.
I very much agree with you on, and I think that, and that's part of what that's part of ties into what I was saying here is that I think that Major League Baseball is on a very, and I know I'm not breaking any news here by having this take. I think Major League Baseball is in a very is not right now, but is teetering on being in a very precarious spot with regard to its ability to not just grab new people, but maintain those new people that they've picked up. Because again, if you only had 60 games a few years ago when most other leagues were able to figure something out that was largely more substantial than Major League Baseball did. Then you got the whole situation now where there's the perception that there's a very strong likelihood of a lockout approaching. So, and who knows how long that is? Whether that means that now, if that ends up being resolved right at the very beginning, and we miss maybe 3 or 4 games, I don't think that really. I mean, it's going to suck, but I don't think that it really leaves a lasting impact on the game. You start talking about missing substantial numbers of the game in 2027. Now, all of a sudden, you're talking about 2 truncated seasons in a 5-year period. That is an absolute disaster for Major League Baseball. And you combine that with what's perceived as poor marketing of their players. The one marketing job I can think of that was unexpected, that I think was, even though I didn't care for it, that I think got word of mouth going and got buzz going and got attention, was that weird decision by the show a few years ago to put Jazz Chisholm, then Marlins Jazz Chisholm, on the cover of the video game.
I'll add to this. I think the Shohei Ohtani one batter up Fox thing was funny.
Yeah.
Because I think that because that was like in the middle of NFL games. It's like, what is happening right now?
Yeah.
I just thought it was really funny.
That's a good point.
I don't understand the marketing aspects with baseball. I think it's a mess.
Me neither.
But hi, Ernie. Good to see you.
Ernie Mayes says, "Go Broncos country only." Hello, K&K. How you doing, Mr. Ernie Mace? Glad to have you on. Thanks for tuning in. I know you're a big supporter of both the K&K network and RMSN, and we all appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway,
So the marketing thing is part of it. And again, I think soccer, in some ways, international soccer is
yeah.
lapping the MLB, and I think that's a problem, at least in American circles. And that's part of my 18 to 40 thing. 18 to 35 is
Well,
soccer's lapping baseball.
I think that it's again, it's tough because if you chop down the statistics, finely enough, then yeah, you can. I think and one of the things you pick up from data is that you can kind of splice data and skew things however you want to.
And I'm not saying Nielsen doesn't do that, because Nielsen's the king at doing that.
Right. But anyway, so where I was going with that was actually not even nowhere near where we actually where we have gotten so far.
I apologize.
You're good. I just wanted to get to this point because for anybody who either has or hasn't been following that, I'm not sure how much of a big deal this is going to ultimately become in the discussions or in what happens going forward, or how much of a setback this is going to be or whatever. Because I know that it only took him about 24 hours to replace him. But Tony Clark, the longstanding leader and kind of head of the MLB Players Association, ever since Mr. Anthony Weiner, who was the previous one, passed away back in, I think it was 2013. Tony Clark unexpectedly and suddenly, at least in the public eye, apparently it was a little less sudden to some people behind the scenes, but he suddenly resigned his post a few days ago. You can go and look up the details of why he resigned. I'm not going to get into a ton of the non-sports stuff. He had personal indiscretions that, quite frankly, are terrible.
Wild.
Terrible. He just made absolutely dumb personal decisions. And quite frankly, and it's okay. The only thing, okay, I'll just say it. Basically, he had an affair with his sister-in-law, who also worked for the MLBPA at the same time he did. So that's all I'm going to say about it. I think that says all you need to know about that element to begin with. So first of all, Tony Clark, what the hell are you thinking? I think that's the obvious part. But moreover, how is this going to impact what happens going forward? Now, they already have replaced him with Bruce Meyer, who was a longstanding negotiator for the union. So presumably they shouldn't, or they're hoping they won't miss too much of a beat there. But there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of unsettled perceptions about this at a time when the union really didn't need that. And nobody knows at this point how much of an impact that's going to have on this stuff which is going to go on through the end of the year, which has been ongoing and has been ongoing for a while now. Because obviously they don't just start doing these things right at the last second, even though sometimes it looks like it does by some of the proposals that get made. But so just both the union and the league at different times and in different ways find ways to just keep shooting themselves in the foot, or at least individuals in both find ways to do that. So I hope that this doesn't become a major setback for the Players Association, because I think some of what they're fighting for in the new CBA is absolutely not only warranted, but is absolutely worth pursuing, and stuff that I hope that they get. But to have your leader have to step away at the 11th hour and over such nonsense, and I don't mean nonsense in that it doesn't matter, I mean making nonsensical decisions, is just not what they needed at all. So I don't have really anything more to say on that, aside from the fact that I really hope that this transition goes as smoothly as they want it to. I hope that the transition of power doesn't cause them to lose a step, because sometimes some companies, however you want it, some organizations or some groups when there's a transfer of power that was, again, unexpected. But what we also heard from some of these reports is that there was that this investigation dated back to the middle of 25. So if they've been knowing this for that long, hopefully that also helped them have like a contingency plan of this is how things are going to go if we have to part ways with Tony Clark, or if he chooses to part ways with us. So, but I'm really concerned about. I already was at DEFCON 1 when it came to this situation between the union and the league, and this certainly does not help. Do you have any thoughts on this as well?
I guess my number one thing is, why are we even playing this season? I genuinely kind of think this season's a little pointless for MLB. I think this entire season is a bad idea. I'm being serious. I think it's a terrible
I don't know where
idea.
you're going with this at all.
Nothing's really changed free agency wise with the MLB. I mean, some have, of course. The Dodgers are probably going to win again, and it's going to make it worse. So honestly, I know that they can't do this because law prohibits it. Playing the season is going to hurt this more than it helps it, in my opinion, because of just the Dodgers are going to win again. And like, if they win again, it's going to be even more issues. I just don't think the season. I think baseball. This is going to be such a black eye on baseball year that it actually is going to hurt them because no one's going to care about the games. Genuinely, and again, I get it because I've talked to Brandon about this too. And it's like, look, a season before is better, especially if we get no season at all the next year. But I'm like, dude, if the Dodgers win again, you're looking at a longer lockout than you would have had already. I get it. It's law. They can't just change it. But this entire season, the black eye is going to be on the sport. And the black eye is already on not just from the CBA, but everything with Emmanuel Clase. The WBC, honestly, is going to be the best part of the year. I would think pretty easily. Just so we can ignore it. Just so we can ignore it. And again, I get it's not realistic and it's kind of a hot take, whatever. But the issues with baseball,
that was a scorching take. I was shocked to hear that one.
And I get it. It's not feasible. It's not realistic. I get it. I just don't like this entire season is going to be hell for everybody in baseball. It's going to be terrible. There's going to be some great moments, of course, on the field and everything, but this is going to be hell. Especially if the Dodgers win again, it's going to be hell. And then my biggest question is, how many games do they actually miss? What percentage?
That's my question.
Because
That's my question.
I genuinely think we're seeing. Like, I've been trying to think about this for like the last couple of weeks. Is how many games do we miss? What is in 2027? I don't think we miss 20. I don't think we miss 40. I think we miss minimum 60 games. Minimum. I genuinely think that's and again, that's minimum. I could see them missing.
You're saying best case scenario.
Yeah, best case scenario, I think they miss 60 games. I don't see, and again, I understand that these are different things because they are very different. But I also think the MLB privately is looking at what's happening with the WNBA and their negotiations, because their negotiations right now are a mess. The stuff that the players are asking for, whether it's more salary, whether it's help with housing, it's just basic necessities, which the women have been for decades. I think they're also very curious about how that's going to play out and how long of a season do we miss in the WNBA? There's a real chance we miss the whole year because of what's going on there. And so I think, and again, rightfully so. And by the way, I am not in the camp of the WNBA at all with any of this. I'm in the camp of the players. And obviously with base, there's a lot more nuance than just we better pay. Right. We need this than that. But I think they are looking at it. And also they're looking at how the NBA, I don't want the NBA to step in. They won't. They should though. Because they have the money to do it. Anyway, I think they're looking at that because if
I'm remembering correctly, sorry, go ahead.
No, please. I
was going to say, if I'm remembering correctly, and it is entirely possible that they've gotten that they are no longer in this situation. I'm asking a genuine question here. NBA was basically the ones that were financially propping up and keeping up the WNBA, weren't they?
At least in the beginning. That's part of my issue right now is the NBA is still like part of it, and I don't know the specific stakes or anything. I wish I did, but I don't. Um,
Well,
they should be more. They should be more involved because of what these players are asking for are pretty obvious stuff. They're not, they're not really like. I don't understand. The WNBA is like, we can't meet these demands because we will shut down. Well, you have NBA money. You should use it anyway. Anyway.
That's what I was going to say. Well, that's kind of what I think I was going at it from a different angle than that is, could they, if would the NBA, would they look at the NBA, or would the NBA look at them, and would they be able to say WNBA could survive without the NBA money?
Oh, I don't have no idea. I think they could, but they wouldn't be able to meet the demands of the players at the same level. And again, that's also part of it is that Adam Silver during his All-Star presser said that we're not going to meddle in the affairs, and I think that's kind of bad. Anyway, my point being, aside from, again, I'm fully backing the players in that one with the WNBA. I think they are looking at it. Because I'm telling you right now, Scoop, for the WNBA, we're going to miss the whole year. We are going to miss an entire year of like WNBA basketball. We are going to miss it. There's no chance they get the deal done. And I look at it.
That's a league that can afford it. I think 10 times less than MLB can.
Yeah, I think 100 times less. They genuinely can't afford it, but I think they will. Because Unraveled has been big. They're very profitable compared to WNBA right now. But anyway, that aside, I think they are looking at it.
Well, that's going to be at the heart, or not going to be. That is at the heart of all this. Is that there does not, even with what they dealt with, even with what they had recently with the Caitlin Clarks and the Angel Reeses, and of course the. I've talked about her as my favorite player, Dallas's Paige Beckers. But with everybody in there, and then you've got, they just expanded. They had, the well-respected coach Brondello up in Toronto. I think she's still there.
Oh my God! Do you want to talk about the expansion thing? Because by the way, what's looming is the draft. They need an expansion draft this year. They can't get it done because they don't know what's going on. It's a colossal mess.
Well, that's part of my question is, why would you expand if you can barely afford to prop up the teams that you have?
I have no idea. I don't ask them, not me. I have no idea. But again, going back to the MLB thing, I think they're looking at it. I think they are because if they see, hey, they could still bounce back or whatever.
Right.
And again, I don't know how much they're looking at it, but I think they are looking at it. And again, my as much as I love these sports, there shouldn't, and especially with baseball, getting this deal done and doing it the right way, even with the WNBA, the deal done and doing it the right way is more important than actually playing the game, unfortunately.
It's one thing to sit on my laptop, but do you have to tail whip my coffee off the table? 1 second.
Your cat's amazing.
I apologize.
No, I look at it like it's kind of more important. And so how long are they? Again, December 1st, right? December 1st. That's what we're waiting for. So that's it, really. I'm curious how the WNBA thing is going to unfold. I'm curious how that's going to incentivize or de-incentivize the MLB into doing certain things.
I don't know. I am curious how it's going to correlate the two. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah, and by the way, I don't know how much it does. I'm just theorizing. But my guess is if you want to do collective bargaining, you got to look at every avenue.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, and I mean, we talked about, the other day, I think it was last show or 2 shows ago maybe, we spoke about what one of the women's leagues does with regards to, the tanking situation, which I'll use that as a segue into
PWHL, what they're doing with
yeah,
getting in.
which I'll use that as a segue right now to get into something that I know broke today. Because once again, for the umpteenth show in a row, we cannot get off the start of a show without having some news having broken in the last couple of hours. So I know you had the document, and so if you want to just kind of let,
did I forget to
I
send it
think
in?
no, you did. You did. I'm just saying if you want to kick us off with telling everybody what's been going on, because I think
This entire proposal is stupid.
yeah,
This
okay.
whole thing is dumb. I have
So,
it in our
so
chat.
yeah, so I saw it. So,
This entire thing. Can I read it? Because this thing's stupid. I'm really pissed off.
go ahead.
This is stupid. They had the GM meetings on Thursday, and the competition committee was involved. Whatever. Here's the concepts they discussed. First round picks can only protect the top 4, top 14. Stupid. Dumb. They've already basically done that. Why do we need pick protections? Lottery odds freeze at the trade deadline or a later date. That means tanking happens earlier. Do you want tanking to happen right when the season starts? Oh my God. No longer allowing a team to pick the top 4 for consecutive years or bottom through finishes. It doesn't really curtail it that much. It's kind of dumb. Teams can't pick top 4 the year after making the conference finals. This is an
What the hell
OKC
does that have
thing.
to do with anything?
That's an OKC thing because the OKC is going to have a top 4 pick and they're going to make the finals again. Lottery odds allocated based on 2-year records.
But what does that have to do with tanking? What we shouldn't be punishing.
What it has to do with tanking is the fact it's just the incentive scale of
it sounds like to me it sounds like another way of punishing success, and I hate that.
In a way, lottery odds allocated based on 2-year records, wasteful. Lottery extended to include all play-in teams. Did that? It wasn't that fun. By the way, the play-in teams don't even want to be in the play-in, so what's the point? Flattened odds for all lottery teams. We already have flattened odds. I don't want more flattened odds. These are all stupid. All of these are dumb. They're just dumb. I have no, and by the way, I've been listening to Mike Florio, obviously him talk about how this relates to the NFL. Just get all of my, I guess, ducks in order before the FAH comes back in a couple of weeks or in a week now or what, 2 weeks. Anyway, is it next week? Yeah, next week.
I think it's like a week and a half.
Week and a half. Anyway, so this is dumb. Like if we're going none of this is going to curtail tanking. If anything, the lottery odds freezing at the trade deadline is dumb because that means teams are just going to tank earlier. And then they're not going to care what happens after the trade deadline. Excuse me. This is stupid. Like what even doing here? And I get that the merit makes sense. And again, they should have done this years ago when gambling started being a thing. But none of this stuff has any merit. And honestly, I think it's kind of wasteful to talk about this until they actually decide on something because all of these are stupid.
Rob, I'm going to have to ask you to give me a second because I cannot hear you.
No worries. But anyway, I just think these are dumb. I think all of these are really stupid. I don't really I understand the logic to a certain extent, but I'm of the position that if you have to incentivize teams to win in some way, none of these incentivize them to win in any way, shape, or form. And again, these all mean well, and again, they have to do something betting, but meaning well doesn't mean this is a good idea, and none of these are a good idea at all. Reading
this from the post from Shams, excuse me, suggests to me that they just wanted to look like they were trying to they wanted to be able to say that they were doing something.
Exactly. This is not actually doing something. This is just
performative.
And again, I see where their head is at, but it's just, to me, it's the wrong approach. I don't like it. That's all I have to say, because as long that they're going to do something in June, or I think not. Is it June? Yeah, probably June. June, July, they're going to do something, especially considering the fact that we're going to have 2 expansion teams at the earliest 2028. So they're going to have to figure something out with Seattle and
Yeah.
Vegas. So, yeah, that's kind of been my whole thing, is that and again, this is a good start. I'm not saying it isn't, but it's not the finish line. And when you have
Not even
betting and you
close.
have a bunch of these things, it's a start, but it's not the finish line. And I don't think any of the ideas is the one they're actually going to go with. Yeah, that's my whole. If you have anything else to add, go ahead. But that's my whole 3-minute rant
Well,
on
it's
this.
just
It's a good start, but to me, it's a little wasteful. All of these are dumb.
yeah. Well, it's for me. I was hoping that. Pardon me. I was hoping that when I found out that there was going to, or that there was kind of a leak isn't the proper way to put it, but kind of an early drop of some potential information as to what was going to be happening. It feels like, to me, it's kind of interesting that we talked about this just on the heels of the labor dispute, because it feels very similar, like when we had the last lockout in Major League Baseball. It feels very similar to some of the quote unquote proposals that both the league and the players union would kind of float every few days. It was like, the owners have made this proposal to the players, or the players have made this proposal to the owners, and we're everybody was sitting there like, we know this is not going to get approved. Like, what was the point of even sending this?
It's funny because it's kind of how I feel about the WNBA thing, but I also like the players' proposals. So different in that way. But that's how I feel as a whole. It's a start. This is not it.
Yeah, it's a start. But if we look at this proposal and we think how many of these are likely to make it into the final agreement, quote unquote, if one were to manifest itself, I would say one, maybe max.
Conference finals thing. I'm very curious about the trade deadline thing, because I think in their minds they feel like the trade deadline thing is a good idea, and I thought of it at first, and then people in fantasy circles, because guess what, on this I put $50 on my fantasy team, we're just like, that means we're gonna have tanking earlier, which is not
Well, it's
good.
well, because I think the mentality there, if and maybe I'm being generous even with this, I think the mentality there was, oh, teams just decide, in February or March to tank. No, there were plenty of teams that decided they were going to tank before the season even started.
No, and most of the teams that are currently tanking have already made that decision about, like, right
Yeah,
as the season begins.
that's my point. You know is I think that the perception, or rather the proposal, that specific part of the proposal would be done under the guise of the accepting the premise that they already, or that they don't decide to tank until the middle of the season. That's just not the case.
No, that's not the case. I don't know, because I mean, I was gonna frame it in a different way now that I think about it more thoroughly, but I I don't know. I feel like they're just not looking at the PWHM model that we talked about last time, and I think it's the best model because it encourages winning. But again, also we need to. So there's a couple things. One is we need to shorten the season. These players are getting hurt all the time, and that's like number one. Is like, because here's the thing: when they're like, we want to tank, like the Kings, like right when this proposal was starting to come out, the Kings like shut down their best players. Like, this guy's surgery. This is what they do. So like, you can't really curtail that unless you lower the season.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think we're about to be getting a head poking in just a moment here.
Yeah, see,
But
Brandon's about to come in, which is good.
yeah, good. I I literally, as he mentioned that he was about to come in, I literally had just sent him a message like
Yeah,
making sure
yeah.
he was okay. Well, I mean, that's not exactly what I said, but that was what the premise was. Anyway,
But
so
yeah, that's
uh,
my whole thing on it is the proposal. Just it's the right start, but it's not the finish line. So that's what my thing.
yeah,
I want to see what the finish line looks like,
yeah.
and
Well,
we'll find that
sometimes,
out.
and we see this happen even in like trades or whatever, or free agency negotiations. Sometimes someone puts forth just even if it's a proposal they know is going to get rejected pretty quickly. Sometimes someone puts something forward, it's just like, hey, let's just get something started somewhere and move it from there. Just kind of like
Exactly.
putting the yeah, which I mean that's how I negotiate fantasy football trades. So, but I so I okay, cool. And I think we can. I know that there was something you wanted to talk about that involves him, so we'll get to
Yeah.
that in a second after we bring him in.
Let's see. Is Brandon here? There. Hey, new
Work.
computer.
That is
Yeah,
astonishingly
new
better
computer.
picture. Oh my gosh!
No, what? Why?
Yeah.
Why do you look? Why do you look like you're on
I
Peacock?
don't-
What's up with the lighting framing?
I don't know. It's the first time I'm trying everything out.
My
so.
goodness gracious! That is,
Turn off one of your lights, man. You look like you're on
If I
Peacock.
turn off, it's literally just the light here. Like it's the same thing as the light from the TV and the light from my
Okay,
fan
that is
in my room.
astonishing.
So
that's dude. Like you look like you're on Peacock. What is going on
okay,
here?
let me
I don't
do
even
this.
know what he's talking about. What he keeps saying about Peacock.
Dude, Peacock has the worst
And now-
color saturation history of the world.
And now I look yellow somewhat.
Yeah, you're okay.
What in
No,
the
you.
world
I
is
mean,
happening?
yeah, we'll figure it out for the next.
Yeah, we need to figure out your color saturation issue because this is.
But
you look.
you know what?
You look
I'd rather
pale.
have to. You know what?
Yeah, I
You know what? I'd rather have to. Yeah. Next to you, I look like I have color in my skin. But
Jesus Christ, that's not good
But-
for what we're about to talk about. Oh my god.
no
Okay.
color in my skin. No, color in my skin like pale versus like having like rosy cheeks and such.
Oh Jesus. Okay. Anyway,
I'm gonna attempt to change this as we're talking about. I'm gonna attempt to what should the saturation what should the color scheme be for
well, no,
this.
it's your lamp,
Which-
dude. It's your light. It's your light. Your light's hitting the back of your head instead of the front.
I was gonna say my light hasn't changed. It's been the same.
Yeah, the computer quality is better, so the saturation's gonna be stronger.
I don't know anything about that stuff, so
Interesting.
I would definitely trust Rob and Shane up for that.
Yeah,
one.
like you just need a lamp by your desk and you're good to go. You don't need a.
What happens if
don't
I
need
turn
a
the
light.
brightness down? No.
You are frozen.
No,
Oh, there
I know
we-
what he's
Yeah,
doing.
I know because I'm.
It's a
I'm messing
little
with
bit
the
better.
settings.
It's fine. We can work with it. Yeah.
Like I was
It's
gonna-
definitely a
like I
little
was
bit
gonna say-
better.
Like I was gonna say, I'd rather have there be saturation issues than why does he keep disappearing issues.
True, but color. I
I'm
don't
only
know. I'm a
disappointed
weird
because I
human.
minimized the shade.
I'm a weird human when it comes to saturation.
Yeah, I know.
It bothers my eyelid.
I mean,
That's why I don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
that's
I
why I
don't know
don't
why
like
my.
that.
I don't know.
This is
One
why
person at a time.
This is why Peacock is killing me. This is why Peacock is killing me. The ice on Peacock, the what is it? Like when you're watching hockey on Peacock, the ice looks yellow. The ice looks like it's about to smack me in the face. I genuinely don't understand. Anyway,
Oh,
whatever.
wait.
Um,
Actually, I have an idea real quick. If it's bothering you, Brandon, or if you actually want to change it, you can you can go to settings and throw on a virtual background.
that might work.
That's what I was thinking, but
Yeah.
Put like
Because
a
they got-
Lane Johnson photo in there or
at
something.
least
Oh,
for now.
well, I was gonna say they got monochromatic ones. If you want to just use that, it basically
Curious
works like a green
if it
screen.
will.
Yeah, we're
I'm curious if it will or not.
I mean, it's probably going to cut Brandon's face off every so often.
Well, remember.
What do you say?
Ooh, key color. What happens when I change key color? What does that do?
I have no idea.
Key, I think, is the difference is how it measures what's background and foreground.
Oh, I thought we were talking about key lime pie.
Damn,
that
now
didn't
I want
land.
key lime pie.
Damn
Why
it!
Say that?
That didn't
now
land. Damn it. Okay, that didn't land. Godly man.
The only response I can say to that will get me kicked off the show.
Do you like this is massively off topic while Brandon fixes that. Do you guys like key lime pie yogurt at all? Have you ever had like key lime pie?
Yes, yeah. I do. Yes.
Whoa!
I
do. Holy
that doesn't
shit!
Change much.
Holy
that doesn't change
shit.
much.
Oh my god!
It slows me down.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. I forgot. I didn't think about the fact that it would lag you.
It's fine. We can live with it for now. We'll adjust as we go along.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like look at how white I become the further back.
Dude,
look at it.
You're just Peacock. Are you in Milan and we didn't know? Like, what is happening? Okay.
They already explained why it's
so
so long to get on.
I don't know.
Okay, so I needed Brandon here for football and soccer topic, and I'm wearing my Chelsea uni for this.
Nice.
Because we debriefed this because it is it involves unfortunately it involves racism in a very difficult way. So we had to kind of debrief in terms of how we wanted to discuss it. So I'll open up with what I'll explain it first. Vinicius Jr. Of Real Madrid, African American player, one of the best players in the world right now. I forgot the guy's name who basically so it was Real Madrid Benfica, the biggest match of the playoff round or the playoff round for the UEFA Champions League, which is the biggest club soccer tournament in the world, or football, as I'm going to say it for these purposes. He basically, and I know that Vinicius had this really excited celebration or whatever, and then basically the Benfica player grabbed his jersey over his mouth and called him a monkey.
The player's name is Prestiani, by the way.
Yeah, Prestiani. He basically called him a monkey and other racially insensitive things. And then players and then fans, including kids, also added to it, added to the fire. If you look at the history for Vinicius, there's a lot of racist or racial tensions that have gone on with him. But I felt like it was important to cover since it's like world sport news. I think it's important to have those conversations. So here's what Kate Scott said on CBS Sports yesterday, and I thought it was just kind of a really good way to kind of start the conversation out, and I'll let Brandon go from there in terms of his thought process on the whole thing, just the history of soccer and racism in the country of Portugal and stuff like that, which also has a lot to do with it. So here's Kate Scott's thoughts on or her statement on what occurred here from CBS Sports.
Today is a new day with the same old racist problems. And whilst we do want to focus on the games ahead today, because the game is what we love, yesterday does still linger. And whether or not you like Vinny Jr., that shouldn't shape your opinion on the incident and which team you support. It shouldn't affect which side of the store fall on. This isn't Real Madrid versus Benfica. It is right versus wrong. Vinny Jr. and Kylian Mbappe said that there was repeated racial abuse. Gianluca Prestiani said they misheard. But he covered his mouth to hide what he said from the cameras. And hopefully we can all agree that if what you're saying on a football pitch is shameful enough to have to hide it from the public, then you're... In any case, racial abuse is not new in this game, that's for sure. In decades gone by, Cyril Regis, Howard Gale, Bill Anderson and John Barnes, to name just a few who played in this country, dealt with continued and horrific racial abuse to pave a path for players of Vinny's generation to play and celebrate without shackles. Except in 26, that still doesn't always apply. They are still expected, as Vinny Jr. was last night, to rise above it, to answer by performance, to shut up and play. Jose Mourinho is an iconic figure in world football. Yesterday, he switched the focus from what had actually been said to whether there was problem for it. He essentially told us that Vinny Jr. was asking for it. That is a damaging narrative from a man who is considered a leading figure in the global game. Football governance struggles globally with racial diversity at its top executive levels, as do UEFA. But we do hope that the lack of black voices in the room will not mean that black players continue to go unprotected. Investigation and due process will have to occur. But whatever the result of that in this case, we hope that football is a better platform where hatred is met with more than nominal fines and partial stadium closures, where diversity is truly celebrated, tolerated, or abused with shirts over mouths. The racial diversity on a football pitch in the Champions League is the reputation of the global love for this game and the global belonging in this game. This is the very spirit of football. And if you don't agree, then respectfully, you are the one who doesn't belong.
I think it's a really powerful statement, but also I'm wearing my jersey today just to kind of say, like, you know, Scoop's a Newcastle fan, Brandon and I are Chelsea fans. I'm, you know, I love my U.S. men's and women's soccer teams. Brandon has huge passion for, you know, Portugal national team, and you know, and again, we're both Chelsea fans, but it's very different from like your NFL, your MLB, you know, because you have fans like us who are Chelsea, or Brandon and I who are Chelsea fans in America, and we connect with someone who's walking on King's Cross in London because we have the same fandom. So it is a lot bigger, and obviously a global game constitutes a global issue. So that's why I figured it was important. Brandon, if you want to expand from there and talk about some of the history there as well.
Yeah, it's, you know, soccer is one of the older sports in the world, and when you think about that, you know, it comes with not just the athletic history of it, but the economic history, the political history of it, all those kinds of things. And when you go back through a lot of history, not really much, you know, soccer, but just especially in the European countries, they I'm not excusing anything that they did here, you know, obviously, especially with Benfica, but when it comes to, you know, European countries, there's a longer kind of just hit. They do things differently. They're not like, you know, the Western Hemisphere, all of us over here, you know, things are different. Like times are different. Over there, you know, they tend to be stuck in the past. They tend to just view people differently than anything else. Like that, you know, and I get, and this is one thing I would tell people to be wary of when you know, because there's people that love to travel, right? And a lot of people love to travel overseas, especially the European countries, especially the Romance language countries, Portugal, Italy, Spain, etc., France. But the one thing you have to realize there is the way that they view things. They're not welcoming to outsiders. They're not welcoming to foreigners. They, you know, typically, and just with the game of soccer and how old it is, and how, like, a lot of these countries, it's like you know, they all take pride in obviously being from that country, being whatever, you know, nationality they are, whether that's Portuguese, French, Spanish, Italian, whatever it is. So, you know, and there's some, especially with the Portuguese, there's, I mean, if you know anything about world history, you know that the Portuguese started the Atlantic slave trade. And when it comes to that, you know, there's just something kind of that's embedded deep in Portuguese culture, where it's like they just you know, and I was telling Rob this before we hopped on, that even when I went this past summer, it's like, you know, I have a Portuguese last name. You know, I see my grandfather is Portuguese, went to where he was born, and just, you know, they can tell when you're not like them, and they don't like kind of when you're not able to either speak the language, and I mean, listen, we get annoyed if people don't speak English here sometimes, but but we find somebody who can help them, whatever it is. But over there, it's not as common. If you don't speak the language, they're not as likely to help you. Um, and here, with Vinicius, it's he doesn't look like them, and then you get the whole thing of this controversy now where you look at it and you go, oh, like it's still bad for soccer. It's still bad for the game. You would think times have evolved, but over there it's different. They don't see it that way, and it's it's unfortunate, but it's hard to make people change their ways, and it's sad because you would think that by now we've moved well past a lot of things, but it's just unfortunately, and what's crazy to think about, in today's day and age is we're probably, I don't say probably, we're never going to be free from this type of discrimination. People are always going to hate other people based on skin color, based on religion, based on economic status, whatever it is. So, we should be able to move past it, but especially when you think about these countries who are a little bit behind the time, and to think about how even people in this country can't move past certain things, over there it's worse. So it's really, I always urge people to, like, yeah, you should never have to go through it, especially what he just went through. But I would always say that whenever you're anybody, whether you're an athlete that's playing over there, or if you're just a person that likes to travel and go over there, and they always say this whenever you leave the country, be aware of your surroundings, know where you are, because these places don't adhere to the same values and principles that we do. It's different. They have their own system, their own way of thinking, their own way of going about their lives, whatever it is. And I'm not that, to avoid traveling altogether, but you have to be aware of certain things and certain things you might not be aware of that might still be embedded in the culture. Like, it's like when people tell you, don't always travel to Mexico because there's the gangs over there. Like, don't leave your resort area if you're going to a resort when you go to Mexico. It's like, because that's just what it is over there. And I'm not saying that it's as rampant, that racism is rampant in these countries, and it's not rampant in Portugal as far as it's they just because I've been around plenty of Portuguese people, it's the way they are. It's like an old school mentality. Like they're kind of stuck in like the 1950s and 60s with their way of thinking. They don't kind of move ahead. So it's really tough when and I think that the two, it wasn't just what the player had said. It was also that they showed, I think there was an image of the two like younger fans, but I think kids doing the monkey gesture to him too. And and I think about this too, and this is more of a widespread problem, not just like an old timey like European thing, but this is a problem around the world where it's just younger generations. They're to me, so embedded with social media, so embedded with seeing offensive things, and just so embedded with just, I guess, just almost like, for lack of a better term, brain rot, that it's like, I don't know how else to describe it, but it's like, I see it in the younger generations. There's just a lack of respect for a lot of things. And it's like, growing up, growing up, it was like, you might joke with your friends, especially if you have a lot of friends that come from different cultures. You might joke around or whatever it is, but at the end of the day, you're all friends. You're not taking anything seriously.
But we're not ever trying to be like, we're just playing around, right? We're not trying to be serious. We're not trying to say something actually racist, right. But continue, because I think you're going in the perfect path. So please continue.
like it's because it's like growing up, like I said, I most of my friends, we all come from different backgrounds. I have friends who are Portuguese, who you guys know. I have friends who I mean, Scoop knows, Suresh, my best friends, he's Indian. um it's like, he comes from Indian background. Like, it's like, all my friends come from different kinds of cultures. I have friends who are Colombian. One of my friends two of my friends are Turkish. But it's like, we all kind of crack jokes on each other, but at the end of the day, it's like, love you, bro. Kind of like, it's like, we're just joking around. But
what's the thing that what's that thing that they say? Your best guy friends are the ones who are going to say the worst things to you.
Oh yeah.
But you'll never question if they'll have your back.
But it's like,
Exactly.
it's like, but it was like growing up, we knew, we knew the difference between saying something in a nasty way and saying it like in a joking, kind of loving kind of way to your friends. And when I see younger generations like this, like what happened in this incident, and they're doing something like that, it's like, you don't do something like that, and you don't do it in a public space where everybody can see you, and you don't do it towards anybody. But you shouldn't even do, like, but in this case, they did towards a player, and it's like, I see it a lot, like, in like preteens and teenagers these days, just walk around the streets, like, they're cursing at their, like, like, they're not just like joking with their friends, like they're almost being mean towards what they call their friends.
Yeah.
And they're making like really bad jokes, or they're or hell, they'll come into our job and they'll cause havoc, whatever it is. Like, it feels like there's a lack of, like, there's a disconnect between being a kid and just being silly, and then being like straight up disrespectful,
and
it's
being
like they
an
don't know the
adult,
difference,
and being an adult, and having an adult in the room.
It's like exactly, and it's like, but it's like, those kids are there, they're watching a game, and I get it, it's a whole different country, but it's like, but it's just like, you've got to know. I don't care how old you are, you've got to know better, and you've got to know the way the world is these days, that you just can't do certain things. Like, it was like, it was the same reason. It was almost the same thing of like why, back in the day, people thought, that blackface was funny, because it was a different era. It was different, but it had a lot of those kind of racist undertones to it. And then you get to today, you can't do that today. You just can't.
No.
So it's like, it's the same. It's the same kind of thing here. It's like, I mean, not saying it's right, but you might make that joke in private with your friends or whatever, but to do that in a public setting, especially towards a player who is black, and to do it in a real disrespectful way. Like, there's so many layers to this, between just where this game took place, what happened, like, and it wasn't just like it was between a player and a player. This was a player, and then fans versus a player. Like, this was a hostile environment, and and nobody should have their lives kind of threatened over just a game or a celebration. And then, and then you get to what Jose Mourinho said, and it was like, I think about that, and it's like, that's the old school Portuguese mentality.
And by the way, he's the Benfica manager, and he's one of the greatest managers in the history of this game. The head coach of Benfica, for those of you uninitiated. But continue.
And he's coached all sorts of guys. So it's like, it's so it's weird to hear him say that, but it's like, I think about it and I go, okay, well, like, he was born, I forgot, I knew he was older, but I forgot. He was born 1963, right? My grandfather was born 1955. When you were raised back then, like, you were raised tough, from the soil, almost dirt poor Portuguese. Like, you were raised, everybody's raised a certain way. They always say, like, it starts when you're young.
Right.
But old school Portuguese culture, it's like, you don't take well to people who don't look like you, who don't speak your language, who, for whatever reason. And it's just, I've seen it a lot with older Portuguese people. it is, anybody that's pretty much over the age of 50 is that's how I've seen it. And it's, I'm not saying that they're all like that, because I've seen plenty that aren't, but it seems to be a thing that I've just noticed, where it's like more so than any other, nationality, whatever race, whatever you want to call it. And it's like, I grew up, but it was like, like when my grandfather came here when he was 11. My grandfather grew up in Newark. Newark has always been very mixed. Newark has always been, but at that time it wasn't. It was a lot of Portuguese, some Spanish here and there, but mostly Portuguese, and a lot of Brazilian, a lot of like the ironbound section of Newark. And but it was like they had their own little community, and that's also where it stems from too. Because remember, if you learn anything about history class, like when you had immigrants that came here in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, what have you, like the early to mid 1900s, they all settled into their own little communities of their own people. Right. So Italians stay with Italians, Portuguese with Portuguese, Spanish with Spanish, etc. So that was all you knew. So when you saw somebody that didn't look like you, it was like, hey, get out of here, kind of thing. So it was like, and you stay to your side, I'll stay to mine, kind of thing. So it's bled over so far into the new generation now, and not really so much here, but European soccer fans, because they still have their own culture and ways of thinking about things. And like I said, they're still not caught up to where we are today, because they always say, Western civilization is more advanced than the East is. So it's just there's so many layers to this to just think about and to really deep dive into. Like, I like how people are breaking it down like, oh, it's a black stain on soccer, and it's there's no place for it, and that's all true. But you also got to realize too that it's hard to break a cycle like that that's been so kind of again, I hate using the word normalized, because it's not normal, but
ingrained.
That's been ingrained. Yeah, there you go. It's been ingrained. It's been ingrained in like a lot of Eastern cultures, a lot of old school European cultures. That it's like they don't see that as bad as, they know it's bad, but they don't see it as bad as we would in today's day and age.
Yeah.
So it's like it's really it's just a bad situation for everybody involved, but it's like I don't know a way of stopping it, because like I was saying to Rob too, you've even heard of, like, you hear about in South America, in a lot of the Latin countries, about riots breaking out between rival fans at games, and people calling each other slurs and stuff, like fans attacking other fans, or attacking players or whatever is on a pitch.
Even shootings between fans outside. Yeah, shootings.
So it's like,
yeah, that's how crazy they get. Yeah.
Like soccer has such an old, not an old school, I don't know, that's not the right word, but like has such an older mentality, like a very like tribal, like this mentality
because the way I would put it is that what we want to teach Scoop when we get to the World Cup is soccer, football. It's a religion. It's a way of life. It's different than, oh, I'm just watching an NFL game on a Sunday. No, it's a way of life.
It's more so than football.
No, it's so. And by the way, that's why I wear this jersey, because as I said, like, we wear our crest, whatever it is, our country, whether or club, on our sleeve, and that's the thing. Mm-hmm. For me, this is a Cole Palmer jersey, and I get it. He's Caucasian, he's white. For my clubs, I don't care what race you are, what gender you are. I don't care. I want to watch you play, and that's why I got very upset about it. It's like, this is the world. God, can you imagine if this happens at the World Cup? There's a chance this happens at the World Cup. It becomes an international incident, bigger than it already is.
And here's the crazy thing, and this is another reason why I'm worried, because especially here for the final and for a couple games before that, even. Like I said, when you get to Newark, and you get to the ironbound side of Newark and Ferry Street and all that stuff, it's soccer for the Portuguese around here is a way of life.
Yeah.
It's like all my friends who are Portuguese or hell, all my friends who, because this area has a lot of Hispanic people. All, a lot of my friends who are, and my longtime friends who are Portuguese, Colombian, all that kind of stuff. When it comes to soccer, when it comes to the World Cup or the Euro, especially, they will stop everything to watch it. They won't miss a game. It's more devotion than even us.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
part of what I'm excited to show Scoop at the World Cup here is you don't really realize it's Scoop until you are part of it. How insane it is because it's so different. It's so different.
I've actually been at a World Cup party when probably 3 World Cups ago, and I wish I appreciated it more than I was there more because of the people who were there. I wasn't really there. And again, I was there for the people who were there, and I was there because the U.S. was in it. The game itself was the least interesting thing about it to me.
That's one of the things that I'm excited. We're not just me, but Brandon and I are excited to show you, especially with Brandon with Portugal. We take this and that's why I want to talk about it on this show, the Vinicius Jr. and this whole thing, because it becomes a global issue because of how soccer is and what it means for a few months down the road for the World Cup.
It's
absolutely
I'm just worried about the chaos that might break out if we get World Cup's a big deal, but especially because it's here and because there's a massive, when it comes to the US, some of the biggest populations of Portuguese people. Like I said, it's Fall River in Massachusetts, which is it's near Boston, so they have a lot of Boston accents there. So it's funny to hear pork chops a Boston accent, but that's what it is up there. So there has
what is pork chops?
Pork chops is the slang term for Portuguese people.
Yeah. Oh, I learned this meeting Brandon. It's
So
meeting Brandon, I learned this in real time right now.
So that's funny. That's because keep in mind, Scoop, Brandon and I have watched almost every most important Portugal game for soccer that there's been since 2021, I guess.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I'll never forget. We were watching the Euro. I think when I was at work. We're texting each other, watching the Euro as I'm working. But
that's serious. This is. That's how serious this stuff is.
I love it.
My grandfather. My grandfather always has a fun time when talking about obviously his culture, and it's even though he wasn't even though he left there, like I say, left there at 11, came here when he was a little 11, so it was he doesn't remember a ton. He remembers enough. But it's also funny to hear, because my grandfather, because there's a lot of Portuguese people that live on our block too, or around our area. So, whenever he's referencing some he'll see our neighbor down the corner who's Portuguese, and my grandfather would peek out the window, and he'll be like, "What the fuck is that pork chop doing now?" My grandfather is just like that. It's technically a slur term for the Portuguese, but it's if you're Portuguese, it's almost like when a black person might say the N-word.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's different when it's intra versus inter.
It's a rite of passage. I say pork chop to Brandon as a joke because I think the slang term is genuinely hilarious. I think it's so dumb. I think it's actually dumb to be called to be food as a slang term. I think it's really weird.
When I talk to two of my friends, who are Portuguese, or when they come over, not always, but sometimes they're like, "Yo, what's up, pork chop?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's up, bro?"
No, I remember when you had the group of friends over for, obviously this is less important, but the Nations League final, and you guys were losing your mind.
Oh yeah, it was a whole bunch of us there. It was because it was me. It was my friend Eric who had the Super Bowl party I was just at, and of course he's full Portuguese. My other good friend Ricardo, they're two of my best friends, and then a couple of our Turkish friends, and so they were watching it too, and so they're sitting there, and it's like they're watching the three of us go nuts, and but it's like it's fun, but it's like it's so when we talk about stuff that's like this, like for the 2016 Euro when Portugal won the whole thing. Oh my God, you should see literally as because look, that final goal was scored like what was it, like 5 minutes before extra time was up. It was like it was the game winning goal, and so my grandfather and I are going nuts, and then we go outside. It was a nice day. It was like the summer. It was like June or something like that.
Yeah,
and
it's June. Yeah, like
so,
no, I
so
think
it
it's
was
like the first week of July, something like that.
it's
July.
it's
but,
somewhere in the early part of the summer. And so we're sitting outside afterwards, like just because it was a nice day out. So we're like, yeah, let's go sit outside. So literally, we see like two cars. I guess they must have been at some sort of Euro party or whatever, or probably down in the Ironbound in Newark. I wouldn't doubt it. And they're sitting. My grandfather's got his old Portugal jersey on. I have an old one I have in my hand, kind of on my shoulder. And so they're driving by honking the horn. And we're like, yo, and I'm waving the jersey and stuff like that. So it's like
I'm telling you, Scoop. I'm telling you, Scoop. Like when it comes to the U.S. for me, when it comes to Brandon for Portugal, when the World Cup starts, we turn into maniacs. We actually like if you think we're maniacs like Brandon and I are when it's like an Eagles, it's different for the World Cup.
do.
But the thing is it's because it's like I now of course I love all my four major U.S. sports teams.
Were you really just about to say I have bias? Because we all do.
No, but I was gonna say like I love all four of my major U.S. sports teams that I support, and I treat it like it's life or death already. But when it comes to like for your country, and it's like the thing is U.S. soccer is not great, so like, and of course
U.S. No, the MLS, but like the U.S. national team isn't great. But I want to get to the quarterfinal this year. I think if we don't get to the quarterfinal, I will lose a gasket. I have an expectation. I have expectation to go to the quarterfinal. That's it.
And
that's my expectation.
And everybody keeps saying, "Oh, well, if Portugal doesn't get at least to the semis, it's a failure." It's like, yeah, because this is Ronaldo's last run and whatnot at a World Cup. I mean, I don't think he's going to retire.
But all we're saying is we have expectations for our countries to do well in this tournament.
Which I think is good. If you don't have expectations in sports, what are you doing it for?
Well, see, like what it is too is like when it comes to country, everybody's like, oh, you could have picked like Germany since whatever. But I'm like, yeah, I could have. Yeah, I'm mostly my skin is milky white. This saturation doesn't help right now. But like
I won't say anything since Robo was trying to get me canceled the last time I said
but like so it's like obviously my dad was half German, half Puerto Rican, and then obviously I get the half. My mom's half Portuguese, and because that comes from my grandfather. So like if you were to like split me up, like those are the three things I mostly am. If you put me into like a pie chart or something, that's basically what I am.
If we 23 in media.
Pretty much because then the thing is, and if you chop it into smaller sections, like
chop it. I have. Do you realize you said chop it?
Yeah, but it's like I have.
What's wrong with that?
I have Samoan ancestry, so I have Islander ancestry. I've got Irish and Scottish ancestry, so I've got like everything. I got six different things, but when it comes to soccer, like the two big clubs out of all those nationalities is Germany, Portugal. But Germany was never as good as Portugal. And I'm like, well, I live with my grandfather, full Portuguese. He doesn't care about soccer like that. I kind of got him into soccer because my grandfather, my grandfather is weird. He's the one like older pork chop where it's like he doesn't watch soccer. He doesn't care for soccer. He like some of the rules he's still kind of trying to understand. I'm like, Pop, it's not that hard. I mean, you just gotta watch it.
Are you telling me he doesn't? Oh my God! Wait, Scoop. Do you know what an offside is?
So the way I understand it, and this could be wrong, the way I understand it is that somebody moved, or somebody like moved. When I say moved, obviously I mean with your feet. The ball on the
I would
offense
not be with
passed-
your feet. Wait, you don't have to say. That's your first mistake. You don't have to say move with
When
your
I-
feet. The whole game is with your damn feet.
Well, because when I said moved, I wanted to be clear that I knew what it meant.
Yeah.
That I meant kicked, obviously, just because I happened to say moved. Anyway, the point of about the actual point of the question with the offsides, the way I understand it is you kicked the ball past the zone of the defense, right?
Well, it's kind of like that. It's mostly that if the offense takes a step forward that's too far, that the defense can't defend it. Essentially, right, Brent? Is that kind of the best way to explain it?
So is it more of a judgment call? There's not like one specific line that's an offside line.
No,
I
no.
mean,
It's
the
based on player positioning.
Yeah, the best to me the way that I understand it, the best way for me to like explain it to my grandfather is like basically as you make a run, like and your teammate goes to pass you the ball, no part of your body can be past the last defender.
Yeah, that's basically that's
pretty much
exactly
it.
what it is.
Like you can't even have a pinky finger past the last defender. You're off.
So you can't.
So you can't at any point, even if you're trying to score, you can't go past the last defender.
Pretty much, yeah.
Essentially,
like you can time it to where like that's the best player too. Like if you're a striker or a winger, you can time it to where like you make your run, and the second the guy passes you the ball, you can blow past the defender. That's legal.
Yeah,
But
like there's some players who are like right here. They're like right here, and then once they see the ball, they're like, all right, I'm off. I was onside the whole way through.
Like basically the player that's passing you the ball has to be like quite literally like I think like in the kicking motion to pass you the ball. Like literally like to like in that instant.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't
But even the guy kicking to try and score the goal, there has to be at least one defender closer to the goal than him.
Well, doesn't have to be.
What we're saying is that like once that ball is kicked, like he's like, all right, I'm gonna kick this forward, and then the other player's trying to run, he can start passing him right then and there. He just has to stay there, and then once he kicks it, like then he can go. Because here's the thing, Scoop. Because here's the thing, Scoop. Have an offense because it is easy in soccer for an offensive player to be open if you don't have that role. Because then you're just like, all right, everyone just blast through the guy.
Soccer's all about structure.
But isn't that
it's all about goal? No, because the goal. Do you see how big? It's different than hockey because the goal is like giant. So if I'm like by myself, I can score without even thinking. It's not that hard. There needs to be protections.
Like think about it. Think about it in hockey, right? So if you're breaking out of the zone, you have to stay onside.
There's off. Yeah, exactly. Except it's a player and not a physical line.
It's exactly. Yeah, but I'm saying like think about the hockey the line as like the last defender. The hockey player can't be fully past that line as he gets the puck, otherwise he's off. So
okay. So what you were trying to say is that the guy who's going to attempt the goal can't be past the last defender.
Well, unless he has the ball already. But basically,
I just said the guy who gets the ball.
Yeah. If he's receiving a pass, you have to time it to where this is why Ronaldo is one of the best at it as a striker because he basically times it so well where he's able to just blow past that last defender as the guy's passing him the ball, and he's got like a wide open net to shoot at, and usually he scores. So
when you say blow past the last defender, you mean kicking it past the last defender?
Well, like not kicking past. Like when I say blow, like when a player, I'm saying like when he like outruns the last defender. So like when you when you how like when a car blows past and the car it's like this, or the car's going like this, and you just go like that kind of.
Yeah, but you said that you can't pass the last defender.
Well, if he's dribbling the ball, he's fine.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
you
like
can
yeah,
if that passes forward, like if the pass is intended for you, you can get it.
yeah,
Technically,
yeah, pretty much. But basically, right before that ball is kicked, you have to be at least dead even with the last defender.
Yeah, because if you're literally a pinky off, it's offside.
It's offside.
You literally,
Yeah.
it's off. Anyway, that was kind of not where I wanted to go with it, but
But
anyway, it's just
we had to fit that in there too. But like,
okay, yeah. Do you guys want to do Aaron Judge's comments? Because I think that'll get you guys riled up. You want to do that?
that's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, let me pull up his comments because I'm not happy about this either because I kind of get what the Yankees were trying to do. But anyway, here's what Aaron Judge said about the Yankees offseason.
What was the offseason like, waiting to see what the front office was going to do, and then obviously with Cody, going into January, not knowing whether he's going to be back or not, and how important he is to the team?
It was brutal. I'm like, I see a lot of free agents out there. I see a lot of guys that, like the Bellingers, the Grishams, the Goldschmidts, like, let's these guys right now and then start adding more pieces, because I'm seeing around the league get better. They're making trades. They're signing big prospects or big players. And, we're sitting there for a while, kind of their moves. But, it was tough there in the beginning. But I think once we solidified getting Bellinger back, we got Trent being center fielder, be our leadoff guy for another year. Then you had a guy like Goldie, some of the back end, bullpen pieces that we've been doing. I think we're being in a good spot. But early on, it was pretty tough to watch. I'm like, man, we're the New York Yankees. Let's go out there and get the right people, get the right pieces, and go out there and finish this thing out, because we got a special group of players here. We got a good core, a good young core. So it was frustrating, but we're right where we need to be.
Did you express any of that to them?
Yeah. But they took care of business. I voiced my opinion about a couple of guys, and Bellinger being one of the guys that he just adds a dynamic to this team that we've been missing for a few years. So excited he's back.
All right, Scoop, go ahead. What do you make of his comments?
Real quick, I just want to say hi to Trevor Salzman. Hope he's doing well. And we got a message earlier. I didn't want to interrupt the segment because obviously we're talking about something important, but we also got a Go Team USA from Nicole Gizzy.
Yeah, USA, baby. Let's
USA,
go.
baby. As our friend Liz says, that is in our group chat that all three of us are in. Liz likes to say, what the hell is a kilometer? So I'm sure she'll be saying that again. Trevor says, what's up, boys? Hope you guys are doing well. I don't know if those came in at the same time. I don't know if Trevor and Nicole's messages came at the same time, but
hers was earlier. Hers was like a half hour ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
USA, baby.
But anyway, so as for that, because I watched that press conference, or that interview, whatever you want to say, I think a lot of fans will resonate with Judge's mentality. I mean, again, every fan would love it. I mean, every Yankee fan, I'll put it that way. Every Yankee fan would love it if, they went and just signed everybody. But I saw people who would have loved it this offseason if we signed Cody Bellinger, Kyle Tucker, what's the Jiminy Cricket, Tatsuya Imai. Hell, they probably would have loved signing Jiminy Cricket too. But and on and made trades for Paul Skeens and Terry Skubal. I don't know where anybody ever thought that either one of those was moving. Now, Tariq Skubal may be a different situation now with his arbitration situation. But I don't think that that's going to be something that we'd find out for several months. But going back to the actual situation here. I think that he gave the best answer. It's typical Aaron Judge. He's going to give the best answer that he can to try and appease both the media and the fans, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's classic what he did here. because he wants the fans to see at him as wanting to win at all costs, which obviously he does, and obviously the fans do. But he also wants to acknowledge the guys that they did bring back, which he did, and I think that pretty much everybody that we brought back. I know that there was people who weren't happy about or thought that for some reason thought that the Trent Grisham $22 million 1-year qualifying offer was the reason why that move stopped them from making another move. Let's just make this clear. If they wanted somebody else, Trent Grisham was not going to stop them from getting somebody else.
Yeah. No, I don't think 22 million affects the Yankees that much,
especially for one season. If they sign him to a 6-year deal for 22 a year, maybe I could have seen that.
Yeah,
22
exactly.
million. They could cut it. They could cut him halfway through the season for what is it, a $10 million sunk cost. That's they would eat that in their sleep if they needed to. We've seen him do it with Donaldson and on and on. But that being said, this notion that the Yankees have had a terrible offseason, I don't understand that at all. I don't understand that at all. I
would like to counter. I have a counter. I think this team is gonna have the same problems as last year. That's my issue. It's the same team. How are you gonna actually improve? That's my issue. No, you're not gonna be. Not that you're not gonna be bad because you're gonna be good. But it's hang on a second. This is the same roster anyway.
Well, just hang on a second because this just came in, and this is I've seen this almost every freaking day, and I want to respond to this because this is one of the biggest retorts I see that I do not understand at all. Grisham is a horrible move and stunts the growth of Dominguez. They were not playing him at center field to begin with, and they were playing him in left field, and he was crap. You were not taking a crap left fielder and trying him in center field and expecting him to be better. That is not happening. You were already playing him, and here's the thing. Unfortunately, I think that Jason Dominguez does not make his debut in New York. Unfortunately, I foresee him now being traded, and that is disappointing to me. But from what we've seen, it's not like they didn't give him a chance last year in left field. They did, and it was not good. But you could say that that's because a Yankee Stadium left field is harder. And that's a valid play. But if he showed better in left field this year, the Yankees have a different approach to this offseason. That's just what it is. If he is literally anything other than dog water at left field this past season, the Yankees are approaching this past offseason differently. It is one thing to come up and struggle, which this happened, and I've been somebody who says the Yankees need to let players struggle when they come up, but this was not his rookie season either. Like the stuff that people say about Volpe, I think it's much worse with Dominguez because Dominguez was far worse in left field than Volpe ever was in the infield.
Well, I will say it was his first full season.
Yeah,
he didn't play much before that.
Let me be clear. I'm not advocating for getting rid of Dominguez. Let me make that clear. I am not advocating for getting rid of him at all.
He's still young, right? How old is Jason Dominguez right now?
He just turned 23.
Yeah,
he's still very young.
Let me just clarify my statements there. I'm not advocating for a guy that you had that people were making Bo Jackson, Mickey Mantle athleticism tags on. I'm not advocating for getting rid of him at all. I'm just saying that I think they're at a point right now where they find more value moving off of him in a trade. That's what I think because they need a lot. They need things that a lot more in other places than they need in the outfield right now. They just do. They need. They need pitching. Everybody needs pitching, obviously, but they need pitching because, you don't know what version of Garrett Cole you're going to get back. Even if it's 70% of Garrett Cole, obviously that's better than almost anybody else you could have. But he's getting up there in age. You don't know what you're going to get from the young prospects. You hope that one of them's going to pop in Carlos Legrand or Elmer Rodriguez or Bryce Cunningham. So you hope that at least one of these young guys is going to pop in your rotation. But again, you have to see it you have to see it through. So eventually, I just think that's what's going to happen. So, but going back to that, the notion that they made a bad move against Dominguez, or that they made a move, like, again, if you are good enough to play, or if you are showing that you're worth playing, they'll take the guy that they just signed and they'll put him on the bench. They're not going to play an inferior player if they're in any way baseball intelligent. They're not going to play an inferior player over you when they're trying to win. And if you're like a prime example, Ben Rice, they brought back Paul Goldschmidt. Ben Rice is going to be the starter. Everybody agrees Ben Rice is going to be the starter.
Goldie, at least from what Passon was saying at the time, was like Goldie's brought in as a veteran piece to help
veteran presence and defensive replacement late in games. Which I very much agree with, and I like Goldschmidt. And I think that you can always there's always more room for veteran presence and late inning defensive depth. But going back to the Dominguez thing, I needed you to show me something somewhere more consistent. If you're going to be that bad defensively last year, I needed you to show me some significant more promise with the bat. And that's the frustrating thing, is that I didn't see enough there to justify, in my opinion, the left field. So I'm not saying get rid of him, but I'm saying he hasn't shown me enough yet that I believe he can be the everyday starter in the majors. So
yeah.
So excuse me. And as for this other thing with regard to, because he also mentioned Spencer Jones, and I'm going to get in on that in a second, because that one I feel more strongly about. That is Spencer Jones. Contrarily, I believe Spencer Jones is exactly why they made this move, because Spencer Jones, unlike Jason Dominguez, they do see Spencer Jones as a center fielder. So I think that's exactly why they made this move, because Spencer Jones has been striking out way too high at AAA. His swing and miss rates have been way too high at AAA. His contact rates have been way too low at AAA for them to be comfortable moving him up and having him be the everyday center fielder in the Yankees, or on the Yankees rather. So I believe that this 1 year deal, I keep reiterating, is a 1 year deal with Trent Grisham, which means that you can move off of him easily at any point during this season for very little penalty, if you want to even call it that, which I think that's even a strong word. And you can, if you think he's ready, if you think Jones is ready later in the season, and if his contact rates are back up and his strikeout rates are back down, and you think he's ready to take over, then you're putting him on that roster, and you're saying goodbye to Trent Grisham. But I think this provides a great holdover option for the Yankees in center field for this season, which is exactly why I think that they did this, and allows them to push the reins over to Spencer Jones in center field next season if they deem him to be ready. And if they don't deem him to be ready, then I think that they really are going to be hoping that Dominguez, what he didn't do in left field, he can do in center field, and are going to bank on the fact that what happened, that somehow, because of how difficult left field is in New York, that somehow center field comes more naturally to him at that position in the major league level. So, but this notion that center field is, that these two players in particular, that they stunted their growth on a 1 year deal with Trent Grisham, I haven't understood that all offseason. Grisham is a 230. Oh God, batting average again. Grisham is a 235 hitter. Why not play younger guys with more upside? Which, excuse me, sorry. Couple things on that. First and foremost, if you watch Grisham in center field, with the exception of I think it was a month or two last season, definitely one of the better center fielders in the game defensively, which you guys know how important center field defense is to me. So
wasn't that like May and June he had like a dip? Wasn't it May or June? It was somewhere in the summer, right?
Yeah.
The better usage of using any type of average in general is OPS. He had an 811 OPS.
Yeah,
very good.
Still pretty good.
Right. So 811 OPS. And again, this is the difficulty with the Yankees right now, is they are, and this is kind of that where they're on competing timelines right now. Because on one hand, they got some really good young players that are trying to cut their teeth in the majors. And on the other hand, they got 2 or 3 potential future Hall of Famers who are either about to exit their prime, in the process of exiting their prime, or are not more than 1 or 2 years from likely exiting their prime. They have really they really pleased the baseball gods somewhere that they've gotten a better and healthier version of Aaron Judge, knock on wood, as he's gone through his mid-30s. That does not happen. So they've gotten very fortunate there. So that's one of the biggest factors here is the competing timelines that they're on. And again, they willingly did this to themselves, and I have been critical of that in the past. But whatever we say about the past, this is where they're at now. So, but the fact, but that people would say that there's that one move that again cost them $22 million that by halfway through the season they can, very easily cut bait on. They are not going to keep a better player at AAA if they believe he can be more impactful to winning this season than the guy that they currently have. They're just not going to do it. Brandon, go ahead.
Go from there, Rob. Brandon. But I'll have you double up, Brandon, because my biggest concern with the Yankees is this is the same roster, and the defensive issues, especially on the infield, what's scaring me. But I also, again, you can speak on the outfield too with Domingos and everything. But go from there because both kind of go hand in hand. What happened, Scoop? Go ahead, Brandon.
I just cleared my throat. I cleared my throat, so I said, "Excuse me."
I thought you actually were like I thought you were disparaging one of your players there. Anyway, go ahead, Brandon.
It's
I thought you like said Dominguez under your breath or something. I was like, oh my god, what is happening? All right, go ahead, Brandon.
I had water.
But
good.
You know, to me, the one thing I will say about Dominguez is when they had signed him, we all knew his natural position was center.
Yeah.
I wish they would have kind of gave him a more proper shot in center, because to me, you can't really evaluate a player until you see what they are at their natural position.
Entirely agree.
So he was like, but the thing is too, it's both things can be true. Like, he's in the toughest spot, I think. Like, because Spencer Jones, to me, it's like I like what the promise he's got, especially with the power, especially with the short porch at Yankee Stadium and all that. And of course he's a little bit older, so he kind of has to play more now. But with Dominguez, it's like I want so much more. Oh, there goes Scoop.
Oh no!
Did we both lose?
But no, I think it was just you. I
didn't even realize that I went down.
Yeah.
Oh, you're okay.
But you've got so it's like with Dominguez, it's like it just stinks because I really wanted to see him get a proper there's a lot of people that are like really like dragging him through the mud, like, oh, he can't field at all. I'm like, how would you? I'm like, listen, he can't field in left. Doesn't mean he can't field at all. Yeah. We haven't seen him play center, which is his natural position yet. Like, so it's like I don't like, especially when a guy he just turned 23, so he's even younger than Anthony Volpe. Like, I'm like, all right, Volpe's had 3 full seasons already, so it's like, this season is quite literally make or break.
Too easily or too early.
Like, yeah, and then you've got Dominguez. Like, this was his first true season this year. It's like, yeah, it's not where you wanted to be. The OPS is not where you wanted it to be, especially with all the promise he has. They keep saying he has a lot of power. He keeps saying he's got a lot of speed. All these different things. 5+ tool player was like, this guy was supposed to be the Martian. Out of this world.
Yes.
And the thing is, that's one thing I don't like about any players that the Yankees, like the 2 guys that they brought up in recent years, Anthony Volpe and Jason Dominguez, both. Hey, Anthony Volpe, everybody kept saying, oh, next Derek Jeter, next Derek Jeter, next Derek. I'm like, he's not the next Derek Jeter. Stop that crap.
Well, that's what I want to know is who is saying that, because I don't remember ever hearing that.
I saw it all over social media, and I saw it especially on Twitter, because everybody's like, oh, well, he's, just like Jeter, he was raised in Jersey, just like Jeter, grew up a Yankee fan, just like Jeter, grew up, with a massive love of the Yankees, like, that they hammered home that, oh, he's playing, his idol was Derek Jeter, he's a shortstop like Jeter, he's, apparently,
goodness gracious.
Like they're like, so it was this whole big deal about him being the next Derek Jeter, and I remember, I can't find specific examples, but I remember
Yeah,
during
my
that
bad. I
time,
don't remember that at all. My bad.
like when he was coming up, I remember the conversation was, oh, is this the next Derek Jeter? Is this the next great Yankee shortstop? I'm like, can we stop? He had, like, at the time, he hadn't played a major league game yet. Like,
That's one of my biggest beefs with them is I hate when they do that.
And they did it with Dominguez with I mean, his nickname was the Martian since he was coming up in DR. But it was like, they kept saying, oh, here comes the Martian, here comes the Martian. Like they kept pumping that whole thing, like, oh, he's out of this world. He's got all these different tools. I'm like, he's 15, 16 years old, just getting signed. Like, what are you talking about? We haven't even seen him play a single A game yet. Like, so, like, I just don't like crowning guys super early. Like, with Juan Soto, they kind of did that, but it paid off. With Bryce Harper, they did that. It paid off.
Those were the two names I was thinking of.
But it was like everybody else has kind of had to wait. Like, and the thing is like, but in this market, it's hard to wait. But like, so I don't like how people like, it's okay to be critical of Dominguez because he wasn't great last year at all. But to literally drag this kid through the mud because he's a kid, he's younger than us. Like, so it's like to drag him through the mud and people saying, oh, well, he's a real shitty baseball player. Oh, he's all these different things. I'm like, you're judging it off of one full season, and he's only 23 years old. I'm like, it's not like Anthony Volpe might be the same age, maybe 20 or 24, but he's had 3 full seasons. So this literally is it for Volpe. But to say that Dominguez sucks after 1 full year as a baseball player is in the MLB at a position that he's not used to playing is ridiculous to me.
Let me just make it clear that was not what I was trying to do at all.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying like the narratives that I've heard, especially from a lot of fans. Like, I got pushed back from it on Twitter from Yankee fans when I was like, because one of the Yankees accounts I follow, it's like, she's funny, but she posts, like, she thinks a lot of the same things that I do about certain players, and I'm like. She's like, oh, it sucks that Dominguez is going through this. And then everybody was in her comments actually saying, oh, he sucks. He's garbage shit, horrible baseball player. I'm like, you guys realize, and I'm like, well, we haven't seen him play his natural position because it's center and he's playing in left. And I'm like, go ask Aaron Hicks how playing in left at Yankee Stadium was. And it's like
Aaron Hicks. Oh God, there's a name I didn't think I was going to hear.
Yeah, when he leaves the ball on the warning track and is staring at the wall in left, like. So it's like you're judging Dominguez off of one kind of crap year, and I'm like, this year in a backup role, I want to see him, like, because this is your prove it time now. So okay, you're basically that 4th/5th outfielder, coming into this. So now you have to earn your spot again. So now it's like, okay. When you do get your opportunities, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to be the same and then just still roughly with that 250 batting average and under 720 OPS, or are you going to be in, like, let's say, like, he's not going to get 100. What did he get? 120 something games last year? 123 he played. Like, okay, so you're not going to get 123. You'll probably get half of that.
Right.
But it's like, okay, in that half a game, so in that 61-ish games, what are you going to show them in those 61 games? Like, the good thing is we saw the speed. He scored a lot on first to home, second to home. He had 23 stolen bases, which would have been 30 had he played a full season. So it was like, okay, a real full season, because he played 123. He might have even had 40. An outside chance at 40. That's how many bases he stole. So the flashes to me are still somewhat there. I just don't like how everybody, how the narrative is like, oh yeah, write him off. He sucks. He can't play left, so he's a garbage player. And I'm like, guys, he hasn't even played one game in his natural position yet. And on top of that, he's at least shown flashes. So we've at least seen something. And it's like, and they wouldn't still keep him here. Like, they would have traded him by now if if they would have saw not no value, but like
Right.
not as much as they think there is. So
Yeah. I just want to get a clarification here. Brian Bernabe is in here, and
Barnaby, let's go.
Barnes.
yeah, Brian Bernabe 5105 says asinine, they don't want to have him be the fourth option. I just want to clarify. I'm guessing he means Dominguez, but can you just clarify that for me?
Yeah.
I
Here. Okay, so go ahead, Brennan. Sorry, I have two more Yankee questions for you guys.
Yeah, I was just gonna say real quick. I think because Barnes and I talk about Dominguez a lot. We still have hope on Dominguez. We're not out on him
So
yet.
do I,
either.
yeah. I'm not
So
out
it's
on him at all. I'm saying I think he needs every day at bats, which is why I'm saying start him at AAA.
Exactly. Yeah, and then that's kind of what they're doing, and that's okay because he just turned 23 like a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago. So
that's crazy to think of when we're both well, you just turned 26 yesterday. Happy birthday to Brandon, by the way.
yeah,
Happy birthday, bud.
Thank you.
You got a gold medal
but it's
birthday present today, man.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, see, like that's the thing I'm most concerned, I think, with this roster, because that's what I really wanted to get into real quick. Was the roster is to me, because like you think about it this way, Stan is going to get a couple games probably in the outfield at some point. So you really overall are carrying 6 outfielders because you're carrying Belly, Grisham, Judge, Jones, Dominguez, and Stanton. So
okay, well, if you count Jones and Dominguez, yeah.
Because they're gonna play at some point this year. They have to. So
I'm not sure about Jones per se. I do agree with you on Dominguez.
Yeah, I mean to me, like, because to me it's kind of getting not super late on Jones, but he's about to be 25, and that's when Aaron Judge came up. I think if you call him up like even later than that, I'm like, all right, then it's
I'll say this: if they don't think Jones is going to be, and I would have traded Jones this offseason, to be honest with you.
That's what I would have done probably too.
But I mean, evidently they didn't see that somebody was going to be worth trading him for, which I understand. But if you still believe in him as your center fielder after this season, I can agree with it. Because in my vision, where I thought they would have traded him, I thought they'd get somebody else to play center field long term. But if they still believe in him to be center fielder going forward, then I'm glad they kept him, because I do think he's going to have I do think he's still got good potential. That being said, that being said, if at any point you don't think he's your center fielder, and I don't mean at some point in 2027, I mean starting 2027, then I'm sorry. Take your highest. Sell high.
Yeah.
Is Stan dealing with injury? Am I tripping? Is he dealing with injury
Stan,
again?
I think is okay.
No.
The
way I read this from Bernabe again is Stanton is gonna. My guess is he's just saying that you bake in with Stanton that he's gonna miss that at some point.
Yeah, that would make sense.
That's how I interpret it.
Yeah, it's like this isn't this like the first opening day he's been healthy in like 2 or 3 years? Like
I don't even know.
Wait, is he in the WBC or no?
No,
I hope not.
No.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be.
Not.
Yeah, no, I would not.
Yeah. Bernabe just said just projecting. Yeah, let me make this very clear about Stanton. You keep this man in bubble wrap until the first game of the season. If at any point any games become, games that quote unquote are meaningless, I don't consider any of games 162 meaningless. But if any games become meaningless, you put them in bubble wrap then, and you do not take the bubble wrap off until October.
Yeah, that's basically You're like. The whole key with Stan, and it's weird because it's to borrow a basketball term, it's load management.
It is load management. Okay, so here's my 2 Yankees questions. One is, are you guys worried about the infield defense? Because that's where my head goes. That's where my head goes, because I'm like, if they hadn't made any just core fundamental roster space, they haven't made any changes, and I'm like, this infield defense is going to kill them again, isn't it?
So here's my answer to that. Yes, but with the caveat that I don't see what exactly was there for them this offseason to improve it. Bo Bichette is not the infielder defensively. Is not the infielder defensively that some people were trying to make him out to be. Just because, And let's be honest. If you're gonna get somebody, if you were gonna do a projection job on somebody this year, I'm rolling with a healthy Volpe over a lot of what was available anyway. Because a healthy Volpe has been a good fielder at points. I still think they should have played him at second base, but my history of hating the way the Yankees play players out of position has been known forever. And part of that was because neither of Oswald Peraza nor Gleyber Torres could get their shit together at shortstop. Excuse me. But
No,
it's just the fact that they have been. I can't remember the last time I saw a team go and stack so many shortstops and not be able to develop one of them into an actual good shortstop in I don't know how long. And I'll tell you this, it really has freaking made me miss even more than I already did, miss Didi Gregorius. But which by the way, I don't know if you saw, but he's been at Yankee camp this
he's been all over it.
And oh man, that makes me so happy. I love the fact, like, some guys who kind of jumped around the league a little bit. Some guys don't really become "quote unquote" loyal to staying with one team after they retire. I love that he's been like,
Didi was always a Yankee. Yeah,
I love that he's been like, I'm a Yankee.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Didi had all his big career moments as a Yankee. So it was like, Didi literally is he's a good guy to learn from too, because he's always been because he had the unfortunate challenge of taking over right after Derek Jeter. So it was like, everybody at first was like, oh yeah, well, if he's not Derek Jeter, we're not gonna like him. I'm like, he's not gonna be Derek Jeter. You do realize how hard that is to do, right?
Brandon, like, one of your favorite quotes on this show and FAH, which we got to talk about that at some point later on. But one of your favorite things to say on this show is that stats don't tell the full story. The biggest of my life, the biggest stats don't tell the full story is what Didi Gregorius did taking over for Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
By the way, Scoop, we're not going to announce the FAH thing until, at least on this show, until next Thursday, because I have. And next Thursday, it's out there if you're curious. But next Thursday.
So I will say that for me, there's Pringles.
Yeah. Anyway. So are you worried about the infield defense, Brandon? Because that's what I keep thinking about all offseason.
Now, I'll jump back a little bit because everybody knows that I still love Bo Bichette as a player. Like, and the thing is, I like the fact that he was willing to play second base. That was something that he wanted to kind of dedicate himself to. And I think after this season,
I agree with you, yeah.
So and the thing is, second base is obviously a lot easier than the left side of the infield. So when it comes to second, I would have, if that would have been what he would have played, I might have seen if they could have gotten something done, but they still could after this year because he's only got because it's an opt out after every year with the Mets, so they still could.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say is that technically that's a 1-year deal. And actually, if you go back and listen to the press conference, he literally, when he was asked, should the fans only expect you here for 1 year, he literally deferred to his agent to answer the freaking question. It was one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, and the thing is, I think because he knew that wherever he played this year, he wasn't going to play on the right side of the infield. So he knew that he was going to be
feels like one of those NFL deals where they add just a bunch of dummy years on the end for cap.
Yeah, that's pretty much what this is. Like the only way that
Pringles is not happy with Bo Bichette right now.
Apparently there she goes. Apparently the only way I think that he would stay a Met is if
do to this thing.
As if he has a great year at third and hitting the ball, and the team does well, but that's a lot to ask. So we'll see. But so obviously not getting him, like, obviously I was bummed a little bit, but I was like, okay, well, he's not going to play second this year anyway. That's a next year thing. So, but
what did Pringles do to your keyboard? What did Pringles? Sorry,
she put my whole screen. I don't mean the window. The whole screen at like 3200% zoom.
That's awesome. Good. That's so good.
I literally can only see the red X to some window. I can't even tell which one, and a portion of the maximize minimize button.
It's Restream. We're all dropping out right now. Restream's been real buggy lately.
Like I said last week, Restream has turned into D-Stream.
Like it's yeah, pretty much. But so looking at the current state of our infield, I think that And listen, I love Ryan McMahon at third. I mean, I didn't read too much into it, but I thought it was also just a weird comment that like, oh yeah, we're gonna try to give him a couple reps at short behind Volpe
I
and
didn't find
Caballero.
I didn't find that weird. I like that, and let's be honest, he's going to be our third string shortstop.
Yeah,
But like again, I don't like playing guys out of position. But what I will say is, I like guys being able to play different positions if they need to.
yeah.
And if you're
Yeah.
going to tell me that you're going to try somebody at shortstop that's already on the roster, McMahon 100% was the guy that I would have done it for.
Yeah, like it's just like I thought that was like not that it was a wrong decision, but I just thought it was like a little bit bizarre. Like I was like, okay, I can see it kind of, but not
I
really.
liked it,
But,
honestly.
like I get it, like so I was like, all right, but and obviously that's what the expectation that God forbid if they have to use him, then hey, well we forget it. Cabrera can play third because Cabrera's here. He's healthy or healthier now, so which is another guy that we don't talk about because everybody just forgets because his season ended so early last year that everybody forgets that Cabrera is still on the roster.
I don't. I've called him my favorite player multiple times.
Yeah, and the thing is like his energy is infectious. Like people don't realize like the team was doing pretty well until he got hurt. So
I mean he was like the Ronald Torres type, oh goodness, Luke Weaver, if you want to look at pitching. I'm sad that he went across town, but anyway.
But it's like, yeah, but no, like it's like I think about the way it's constructed, and I think so basically your options are I don't believe there's a backup. I know the backups for each position, just not for second. I don't think there is one for second. I think it's just Jazz and it's whatever else. Well, I think Caballero can if they need
Caballero can, and Caballero can, and actually let me pull up the depth chart real quick
because I know that third is McMahon and Cabrera, short is Volpe and Caballero.
No,
second is Jazz and probably Caballero.
I'm not saying no to you, Brandon.
Yeah, and then first is Rice and Goldie.
But hang on a second. Keep in mind we also brought back Ahmed Rosario.
Oh, I keep forgetting about him. And he can play anywhere on the infield.
Yeah, I like Ahmed Rosario, and we also brought in Max. I don't even know how to say this. Max Schumann. I
don't even know who that is.
He was one of the the depth trades that we made this offseason.
Yeah, I think I vaguely remember, but
I think it was from the Athletics.
That's his name. Yeah, I couldn't remember.
Was the Athletic.
That one. Yeah, well, the thing is, he's got a very good glove. That's what a lot of people said about him. His glove's really good. But
I love that.
They said that he can't swing to save his life, but he's got a really great glove.
Sometimes you need those guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and but I look at the infield like basically we're saying that hey, the opening day infield is going to be McMahon, Volpe, Jazz, and Rice, and of course I like Rice being the primary first baseman now. That's another thing I don't like was when after his first full season as a starter, everybody jumped online saying, "Oh, he's the worst fielding first baseman in baseball. He can't field." I'm like, okay, he's 25 years old. Relax. Like,
what people also need to keep in mind is that wasn't his original position.
Not his natural position. He's a catcher.
He was originally a catcher.
Yeah,
and they also during all this they were also trying to see if he could be both a catcher and a first baseman. Yeah. I think they're going to ultimately make him a full-time first baseman, but I think that they consider him right now our third catcher behind Escada.
Yeah, that's what I would think. And the thing is, his batting numbers last year were insanely better when he played first versus when he played catcher. So
shocking.
So and the thing is too, you're not getting beat up as much behind the plate, so you're kind of more in the game. Ball's always coming to you at first base, whether it's a ground ball hitting right at you, whatever. So you're constantly involved in the game. So it was when he was more involved in the game that way, it was like okay, you can see how the hitting would translate. But I think that when I look at the infield, it's like everybody's so worried about Rice. Playing for not everybody, but people are worried about Rice playing first, saying, "Oh, he can't field." I'm like, well, no, he's young, and I guarantee he'll be a much better fielder this year. The middle infield is where I worry. Jazz and Volpe, I think together were top 5 in errors last year. Errors, and I think even I think even their defensive run saved was really low.
Yeah,
So-
and the defensive whatever it is, and defensive run save outs above average, any of it, it was not good between the two of them. The problem that I had with it is that Volpe was more because he was still hurt, and Jazz, we all saw it.
Yeah, like Jazz. It's funny how Jazz is actually more of a second baseman and a center fielder, and yet he's been better at third in his career so far than he's been at second. Like,
Yeah, but he just, to my understanding, I guess he won't play third.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, not now. Now that you have Cabrera back and McMahon playing third, so I don't think so. I think that's done. But I just can't see how like. There were plays last year where it was like routine, like not routine, but like there was a slight degree of difficulty, but an MLB player should be able to make that play. There was, I mean, everybody remembers the one double play where he catches the ball at second and then throws it 20 feet over the netting into the stands. I'm like, where is that ball go? Like, you know how hard you have to try to throw a ball that far over first base?
You know what? You know what was so? You know what? You know what was funny? I think if I remember correctly, Shane and I were at AWA, American Football Association, which go check us out. We're just about to start our season in a bit. I think Brandon called me because we're getting ready. We're setting up the broadcast booth, and I think you called me. I think you called me and you went, "Hey, look at this," and I did, and I was like, "What the hell?" I think I saw it on MLB Network while it was happening, and I think you called me.
I'm used to throws going wide or maybe skipping to the first baseman, like a lot of Volpe's throws do, whatever it is. I've never seen a double play ball that could have been turned easily, and he just never grips it. Like even if you don't grip the ball well, how do you overshoot the first baseman by like 70 yards? I've never seen that. Like
that was me today in MLB The Show because I got traded to the Yankees, and so I had a routine play at first base, and the game for some reason made me throw it to the catcher. I was like, "What the hell is going on here? Why am I throwing it to the catcher?"
Oh my god! Did I find the overthrow? I might have found it.
It's not that hard to find.
It's the weirdest thing that I've ever seen because I'm just like, bro. Like, I've never seen a fielder like Chuck Knobloch. Now, we weren't alive for this, but Chuck Knobloch was a bad second baseman for the Yankees. He was a good hitter, but a bad second baseman. And it was a famous incident. Keith Olbermann, the anchor, the sports guy, the ESPN anchor.
Yeah.
And back at that time covered baseball too. And his mom was in the stands. He threw the ball so far past first, hit his mom in the stand and knocked her out. And I'm like, and like, it's like there was a whole thing where I read why I told you guys about the radio station that was talking about, it was the sports station. I forget, it might have been WFAN, and I think it was.
Probably.
My dad and I were listening to it, and this was back maybe like 2015, around there, 2014, 2015, and like right as had retired pretty much from the game, and they were like, "Oh yeah, do you like, they were asking, I think they had Knobloch in as a guest, and they were like, "Oh yeah, do you think Andy Pettit's a Hall of Famer?" He was like, "No, because they don't talk about his HGH testimony and all this stuff." And then that's when the caller was like, they took calls, and some guy called in. Obviously, New York sports fans are snarky, and he says, "Well, Knobloch, hey man, if you took HGH, you would reach first base." So it was like, it was like that whole exchange. I was like, "Oh, this is great. This is fantastic." But like, it was just like. That's what I worry about with this infield this year. I'm like, guys, can we just reach first base consistently? Like, I don't care if you bobble it. At least stick with the play and make the out. But, like, there's times where I watch Jazz and Volpe, because the middle infield is the most important. I watch Jazz and Volpe bobble the ball, and then they still have time to make the play, and they still fire it wide. I'm like, guys.
See, here's the thing. And this is what I believe. I still believe that because he doesn't have the strongest arm, meaning Volpe, I think, and obviously it was compounded by the injury, I still believe that because he doesn't have the strongest arm, he tries to be super accurate and and kind of almost when I say overthrows, I don't mean over like throws too hard. I mean like gets in his head about it basically.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I think the injury just made it worse. But
Can
like,
I ask one more Yankees question before we get off air? Go
Yeah,
finish
well,
up.
well,
Sorry.
well, no, because I was gonna. Did I already answer your original question?
Oh no, you can. I think you kind of answered it with agreeing with Brandon had to say, but please go ahead.
Can you remind me what your original question was?
My question is, how worried are you about the infield? Are you like
I did.
massively concerned?
I did answer that then because I said I am, but I also don't see what the path was this offseason to address it because the guys that were on the board or that came off the board were guys like Bichette and things of that nature.
Okay, I have one more Yankees thing before we go, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah.
Please.
Let's play a Yankees game.
Yay.
I'm gonna give you guys like the first few series that you guys have. I was just pulling it up and looking at it.
Cool.
Tell me how concerned. Like, tell me which one you're just like 10 out of 10. I'm extremely worried about the team. Basically, open up. Your first series is in San Francisco.
Not worried. I mean, they could be better, but not worried.
You said in San Francisco?
In San Francisco, yeah.
We usually play well in San Fran too.
Yeah. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, not that concerned.
You come to my humble abode, Seattle.
That should be interesting.
I think it's gonna be interesting, but I think we get good baseball, but I wouldn't say concerned, if that makes sense.
Yeah, early season Yankees usually play well. So
Let's go.
I'll say competitive, but not concerning.
Yeah.
I'll go till April 26th. So, okay. Opening day for the Yankees at home is against Miami. Are we at all concerned
Smack
with
them.
Miami at all?
Smack 'em.
Athletics?
No. I mean they were sneaky last year, but
oh yeah, I think they're kind of like I think they've almost become like the excuse me, sorry. They're the team that everybody I think has written off for so long and has just kind of known that they were kind of the underfoot team for so long. That I think that sometimes people are not paying attention to what they do for, self-deserved reasons. But I think over the last year or so, they've kind of become like the Rodney Dangerfield, like I don't get no respect type of team, because I think that they are a team that is quietly putting together some nice pieces. I'm not in any way saying that I think that it's going to be a hard, like a brutal matchup for us in any sort of way. But I also think that they're a team that they will fight you with everything that they have.
Is Tampa playing again at your spring training facility, or are they back in Tampa?
That's a good question. I don't remember.
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't know. Anyway, it's Tampa.
Well, down there.
Down there, yeah.
That becomes a house. Well, that's like a house of horrors. I mean, if it's at the Trop, that's a house of horrors for the Yankees, and it always has been.
It was kind of a house of horrors even at Steinbrenner, though. It's not like those series were walking the park last year.
No, but I think we took 2 out of 3 from them, or 3 out of 4. But they were all competitive, like really competitive games. I mean, that's your division, though. Like it's gonna be competitive. So I would say competitive, but not concerned.
Okay. Angels, anything?
Wait, for the Angels, not really.
Yeah,
not really.
No, I'm just going until basically the end of April here. Okay. Kansas City at home. So home against the Royals will be, I think, a great series.
Yeah.
Are we panicked here at all?
We usually, I think so far, and then like the recent last 2-3 years, we've played well against them at home. So at least I went. The ALDS was a pretty close, few games there. So that could be something. I mean, I'm not going to write Bobby Witt Jr. off, but I think his career numbers against the Yankees are not good at all. So that's a little interesting to me, is that he's a great player, but against the Yankees, he's not. So we'll see. I'm gonna say that that's more competitive than the Rays, but that it's not enough to worry me. That's a series I think they should take 2 out of 3.
Scoop, do you agree? Because I would think so, right? For Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of are almost like the early 2000s Rangers now, where they've got like one of the best young talents in the game. Like the Rangers had A-Rod, and they've got Bobby Witt Jr. But the question is like, what else do they have?
Exactly.
Which is not much.
Right, but and it's also they've become one of the teams where as soon as they get the pitching, they lose it somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah. So no, but I didn't get a chance to answer the Rays question.
Yeah.
So I'll just jump on that. So far, that's the series that would that I'd be if I'm in the clubhouse. That's the series I'm circling so far because, like Brandon said, for some reason the Trop. And I just verified they are playing at the Trop this season.
Okay, yikes.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. So because they are playing at that junk hole this year, because they are playing there, for multiple reasons, that suddenly is now the series I'm circling so far.
Yeah. My apologies, Scoop, for not giving you your time there. All right, Boston. Are you guys? I know it's a rivalry. Everyone's gonna be watching it.
But early season.
Is Boston
Fenway
a stress?
Fenway or Yankee Stadium?
Fenway. My bad, Fenway.
That's either way because it's Yankees Red Sox. Even when the Red Sox are bad, they still play up to the Yankees.
Right.
So it's like, because even last year, like
when does that game get, or when does that series get played?
April 21st to the 23rd.
All right, so this is the penultimate series we're going to be talking about then. So, I
have one more that I want to discuss just for my own sanity.
I think it's going to be more competitive because of the rivalry, elements of it. I still don't look at it as this series stresses me out. Still the one that stresses me out the most so far is Tampa.
You still want to beat Boston, obviously, because it's Boston.
Yeah.
But it's like
Kenny's on. He says, "What's up, fellas? What's up, Kenny? Thanks for tuning in." But like you said, I think Boston's the better team than Tampa, but I'm still circling that Tampa series more.
I still I look at the division. I look at the division.
That freaking catwalk always screws us.
To me, the division is always tough whenever you play your division. I think out of all 5 AL East teams, we had the worst division record by far last year, but we still ended up tied with the Blue Jays. Well, virtually tied with the Blue Jays. They won the division, but tied with the Blue Jays for the best record in the AL or whatever it was. So, I still think it's Yankees, Blue Jays, and the rest would have to catch up. But I'm not gonna sit there and say I'm not worried just because it's the division, and the Yankees are hit or miss against the division. So,
what the hell was that?
I don't know. I think Rob cut out.
I couldn't tell who cut out or not.
Sorry, guys, I bugged out. Yeah.
Okay.
That was me. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you guys concerned about Houston at all, just for my sanity?
I don't think so. I mean, because the last couple of years we've been beating them. So
yeah, I stopped considering that a so-called heated rivalry about 2 or 3 years ago when we finally took them down in October.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair play. That's all I want. I just kind of wanted to go through April and see what you guys had in mind. So
it sounds like another hot start for the Yankees.
I like your guys' stop by. Yeah, it sounds pretty good.
Sounds pretty good.
We got a question from Kenny here. It says, who are your top 3 pitchers in AL and NL this year? We'll go around.
starts off with Scuba and Skeens for the top.
Oh my
two.
God, I don't even know where to start because I'm not the person for it. But
I mean, well, see, to me, there's gonna be bias that sets in because I believe Garrett Cole's in that top 3 for the
But
AL.
well, keep in mind though, he ain't going to be there for a good chunk of the season, so that factors in for me.
Well, they said he could throw some spring games and he'll be there. What, the end of April,
May, I think.
somewhere in there. So he'll still get his starts in somewhere.
I mean, knowing when the season starts, I mean that's still 2 months of, and you know that he's not. Even Garrett Cole, you know, is going to take a little while to get back to form.
Yeah, like to me, like if see now, because top 3 could be like could be like I know what you're saying, Kenny, about it. About top 3 being like, hey, this is top 3 in baseball for each one. But I think that like I look at upside too, like Cam Schlittler has that upside.
Yeah,
where it's like that, he's a young phenom waiting to break open. But Crochet, like I think it goes Schoolboy and then probably Crochet. That's my top 2 in the AL. Third, oh my God, third. It's. I mean, there's a few names like. It's really tough just because I'm trying to like, because you can put any like it's also just what you believe personally too, like because everybody talks about Schoolboy and Skeens, like that's your 1-1 in the AL and NL, and after that it's like, okay, then where do you put the rest? Because those 2 guys are clearly like up here, so it's like I mean, it's, oh my God, is that tough? And remember, a lot of these guys are also jumping back to former teams. Like I mean, like I know he's old, but Verlander's still Verlander, but now he's back on the Tigers. So like now he's back to the AL.
Verlander's nowhere near this conversation for me.
I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying that like there's guys that's like you almost forget what league they're in these days.
Yeah.
But I would think, damn man, it's so tough. Like I know, yeah, like I would say Crochet is second. Like it's for at least for the AL, because I know more about we know more about
I
the
would
AL
agree with you
Yankee
there.
fan. So it's like as a Yankee fan, I'm like, yeah, the AL is definitely it's Schoolboy, then it's Crochet, but then at third, like you could pick a lot of different guys. Like for me, like I think that a guy you could put up there, even though he hasn't been like the perfect pitcher, but like I think Joe Ryan is in the conversation.
I don't hate that.
Yeah, I like Joe Ryan a lot. It's the NL that I struggle with, just because the NL is like you could put basically the entire Dodgers rotation. like it's like it's like to me that's tough. But I would say honestly, Yamamoto is in that top 3. I think he has to be, because Yamamoto is so damn good.
Especially with what he did coaching it every night.
I think Yamamoto is definitely in there. It's just really finding that like last guy you could put in the NL or the AL, because it's like that really comes down to like, because I think that there's a clear 1, 2, 3 on either side. It's more like, okay, we know who the 1 and 2s are. That third could be anybody based on how well they did last year, based on how they performed like each year coming into this year.
Right.
Like there's so many guys like a guy I would have put up there if it wasn't for his character issues would have been Valdez. Yeah, but it was like, but obviously he's just the head case. So it's like so there are guys. It's just of where you feel like DeGrom is still good. It's just that we forget about him because he's not on this side anymore. He's not a Met, so we don't talk about it in the New York area. Everybody kind of seems to forget. So it's like there's just so many you could pick. I don't know who the third would be. Like I would say, like I said, Joe Ryan to me has a good case for third in the AL. But I definitely think that at least my 1 and 2s are Schoolboy and Skeens, and then obviously Yamamoto and Crochet. I think that's the 1, 2 on the sides there. But anybody you guys really want, like I wouldn't even know at that point. So,
Yeah, I don't have my idea because obviously I'm still getting more into baseball, but I like where your head's at, I would say, in terms of what I know.
like
Yeah.
I'm really trying to like go back in my mind and be like, okay, who's on there? Who can it be? Like, because it's like, hell, you
Right.
could even say that the guy who would have, hell, I would even say that the guy who AL that if it were a finger blister, should have won the Cy Young last year, could have been Max Fried. So it's like,
honestly, my number 3 behind Scooble and Crochet, I'm still going Max Fried personally.
yeah, I would still think about putting him there. Like for me, third is between Joe Ryan and Max Fried because we all knew this. If Max Fried didn't get a finger blister, he's winning the Cy Young, probably.
Right.
So because that was the whole conversation was, if he didn't have that bad stretch of like 7 games where he was still working through it, then it would have been something different.
Yeah.
But I mean, because you look at his numbers across the board, they were all up. Everything was up for Max Fried last year. So I think this year's gonna be more of the same. He's still in the prime of his career. He's only, I think, 31, 2. So
Yeah,
he's
something like
still
that.
got a couple years left of his prime. So I think he's all right. So I think that Max Fried can be up there. I think that Joe Ryan is in that conversation because I like Joe Ryan a lot. And it's but it's that NL. Like, who is third in the? Because I mean, like what was it? Freddie Peralta had a good year last year, but he's no longer a Brewer. So like, coming into this year, I'm like, is he gonna be?
I'm trying to remember, where did he go? Oh, he's with the Mets.
Yeah, like is he gonna be that number 3? Like, I don't know because we haven't seen him. Milwaukee's a smaller market. He was great in Milwaukee.
Better pitcher park also.
Yeah, so it's like, big park. So it's like, I wonder how that affects him because Peralta was a guy I loved, last year. So it's tough, So I would think coming into this year, I might have, like, I would say tentatively as I think through, at least as a placeholder, I would have Peralta as my third.
Yeah. Who'd you have your second again?
So
Yamamoto.
Yeah. In the NL, it was Skeens, Yamamoto, and then probably Peralta. So, but like I said, that's tentatively. I'm trying to think through all the different teams and who I like. So, like, it's hard to kind of think about all the guys who I love to watch pitch. So
I'll take over real quick, and I'll give 3. And I'm going to go with one very young guy, which is the obvious one, Paul Skeens. And I'm sticking with 2 older guys. Number 2, I'm still going with Zach Wheeler at number 2.
I can see that.
In Philly. And number 3, I made this mistake a few years ago, not believing that Scherzer and Verlander were going to be able to age well. Pitchers are now aging better than ever, so I'm not going to make the same mistake after what he's done since he went to the Atlanta Braves. Put me with Chris Sale at number 3.
Yeah, Sale's been good with the Braves. That is a good point.
I just hesitate just because that injury history scares me so much. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, it's Chris Sale.
I'll take 19 starts of what Chris Sale has been doing in Atlanta over 28 starts of most pitchers.
Yeah.
Fair play. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I know, Rob. I know you can't, talk about it as in depth as we can, but like,
dude, I'm just. Well, here's the thing. I'll just say this: I'm really excited about what the Mariners are gonna do with their pitching staff this year, though, because I thought Brian Wu took a big step in the postseason.
Woo's up there for me in that conversation.
Well, that's the thing, because when I look at the Mariners in particular, because that's kind of what I focus on here locally, I was just really excited with what he did this postseason. I was actually quite surprised what he did towards the second half of the year and into the postseason. So that's one I kind of just put in there slightly. I know he's not fully there yet, but I'm liking the way he's developing, if that's a better way to put it.
Yeah.
And as Zach Wheeler right there, as you said. So
yeah,
that's what I'll throw.
Just mention that
really quick. But that's all I have. I definitely want to. Being on this show, I'm going to deep dive into it even harder. So also, it's going to be good to kind of go deep into baseball as we get into the weeds of summer too.
Also, this just came across my screen, so I felt like mentioning it. I completely forgot about this. How the hell has Max Scherzer not been signed yet?
Oh, is he not? Is he not in
I,
Toronto?
I think it's just probably just age.
He's
I
still
would
a free.
imagine it's age.
He's
Yeah.
still a free. He's still a free agent. He was. Excuse me. I mean, he just had come off the mound. He just pitched Game 7 and held LA to what was it like? I think it was 4 one-run innings.
Well, I
Yeah.
also keep in mind that for a guy of his age, it's about the right spot, and sometimes it's okay waiting at least a little bit to see what that spot is, right? So that doesn't matter too.
Yeah, it may very well be partly on his end, like choosing to just kind of wait and see, like, does somebody go down in spring training and a team come calling or whatever. Like maybe he was getting offers from teams that he didn't see competing for a World Series, and maybe he was like, if I'm going to continue to play, it's going to be trying to win another ring. Because I probably would put Max Scherzer as the best pitcher of our generation.
With the two weird eyelids. Those eyes scare the hell out of me, dude.
Okay. So one of my neighbors in Mississippi, one of my neighbor's dogs has heterochromia, and I and looking at a dog that has a big dog that has one blue eye and one brown eye is freaky as hell.
It's weird. It's fine I've seen it in dogs, but whenever I see Scherzer, I'm like, that is the weirdest
here's the thing.
thing I've ever seen.
When I see that dog, I think of Max Scherzer.
Yeah.
So now think of Max Scherzer, but as a big ass dog.
That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
do we want to show this comment or do we want to show this comment or not yet?
Which comment?
The very last one.
The top one here from Kenny.
You know what? Yeah, put it up there from Kenny.
All right,
why not?
so,
Let's announce it.
All right, so this is a good time to announce it. Is by the way, happy to have Football After Dark on our network when his next episode. So
Football After Hours. Our next episode, we're still planning it because first off, I'd love approval from Kenny and Kurt whenever you guys are available. My thought is, I guess our next. I think it's the 20. I know it's the 28th. So
that'd be next Saturday.
Next Saturday. I know it's the 28th because we want to record when the quarterbacks are going at the combine, but we don't know what time they go. My guess is that normally go around 3 Eastern. Correct, Ryan? Isn't it normally like around there?
Yeah.
I barely watched the combine, to be honest with you.
I'll figure it out like when we get closer. But I hope Kurt and Kenny, if you guys are available, you can join us for that once we kind of nail down a time. Because here's the thing. I can never nail down a time for the live combine show because it's weird. I don't know. Yeah. I don't exactly know the timings until like at least Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday I'm probably going to know. But no, Football After Hours is officially here on K&K. We're very lucky.
Thank you, Kenny and Kurt.
Thank you, Kenny and Kurt, for getting us settled. I'll message you guys primarily because I need access to the YouTube so I can upload our stuff to our Spotify and everything as well. And I know Shane is also wanting to get back on our Shorts grind, so I need to make sure he has those files through because we're going to post it on K&K's YouTube now, including RU and stuff. So I need access to that. I need to make sure I have that. Just
and
FYI.
he says he's available Sundays through Wednesdays. It can help us backstage those nights if we like.
Perfect. That's wonderful. But we'll handle that next week. I'm not too concerned at the moment because we're still on break. So I want to get as much rest as possible. Yeah, Football After Hours right here on K&K. I'm so excited. It just happened because I was just really impressed with the infrastructure that Kurt and Kenny gave us here. Yeah. And we just didn't have that sort of infrastructure at a previous employer. And so it kind of just happened. I messaged Scoop, I called Scoop like 30 minutes before a Super Bowl show. And I was like, hey, I have this idea. Can we potentially make it work? And I think we already kind of knew that it was going to work, but we're very thankful to Kurt and Kenny and the rest of the staff for kind of giving us this opportunity.
Yeah. And Kenny says we can have a meeting. So
I would love that. Definitely sometime next week. Probably, I guess, Monday or Tuesday. We can figure it out. But
I can make a group chat of all of us if that would be easiest.
Probably useful, yeah.
Yeah.
But either way, we are really thankful
Yeah.
and really excited to get going
Yeah.
with just the infrastructure and everything. So, but yeah, we're super excited. I know it's going to be the 28th. I just don't know what time. That
Yeah.
combine show is also, that's why I want Kurt and Kenny, at least one of you guys there, just to kind of introduce yourselves and kind of introduce us to the network, because that show is very silly. It's genuinely
is that going to be like our freaking what was it? Our show for the Senior Bowl?
It's exactly the same thing. Yeah,
Oh,
we're on
Sweet
Surge
Caroline.
as well.
That show was insane. Also,
and we're on
that
Surge
show-
as well too. But no,
Yeah,
that it's exactly
that
Kenny,
show
our meeting
was
and restream to go over
insane.
everything. I would love that, Kenny. But no, it's literally structured the exact same. It's just shorter. It's like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Okay.
It's not like 3. I structure
I mean,
it
to be
where
fair,
we're done.
every time we say a show is going to be shorter, that absolutely never happens.
Well, it doesn't happen. But the thing is with the combine is like, I don't want to sit there watching quarterbacks throw for 6 hours.
Yeah, no one does.
Yeah, you and me neither.
I mean,
you and me neither. That's not.
Yeah. So that's the thing. We kind of go for a little bit, and then we start rolling too. We start rolling a bit. I think the only other time off I have scheduled is that first week of March Madness for us.
Yeah.
Just to get 1 week before we do draft stuff. But yeah, other than that, I'm so excited.
I'm already excited for the draft, man.
Oh yeah, the draft's gonna be fun. Excited to plan that out too. So yeah, football after hours on here is going to be extremely special. Again, very thankful to Kurt, Kenny, the rest of the Surge Sports team for giving us this opportunity, and we're just excited to get rolling. It's going to be really, really special.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so I know Shane is really excited. I told Shane not only that, with the shorts and stuff, I told Shane we can give him a big screen to do his whiteboards. You have to peek at it.
I'm so excited for that series to start. I cannot wait for that series to start.
We were gonna do it later in the year, but I know.
Oh man!
Oh, for crying out loud!
Connection. There we go. My connection got lost. No, I'm very excited for that series where he's going to just deep dive into football schematics and things. We were going to do it later in the year, but he's on vacation like in the middle of the summer. So I wanted to get it done as quickly as possible. So that's like
this man goes on vacation every 2 months.
I know. He goes on vacation. Hey, I want you guys to go on vacation before we hit September. So for our show's purposes. But anyway, that's coming up. So I've pretty much have every show planned out until the draft. In terms of what we're doing. So and not exact dates, but everything I wanted to get it done through August, but I can't because I don't know when the schedule release day is.
Yeah, I think that comes out in like March.
Well, they announced the schedule. They announce on day 1 or day 2 of the draft when they are releasing the schedule, and it's normally like the second week of May. But
May, my bad.
It's May, but I have no idea. The only thing I know for sure is that the Melbourne game is on Wednesday and the Seahawks game is on Thursday. So we're doubling.
They announced who's playing in Melbourne, right? Isn't it like the 49ers and who else?
It's the Niners and the Rams. Yeah,
Niners and the Rams. Okay,
in week 1. I think that's what they're doing. I have no idea. But anyway,
speaking of the Rams, I got to go and get my ass handed to me in our Madden game again.
Yeah, I have to play my game too. Brandon and Scoop, you guys are up, so have fun with that. You guys have until Saturday though. I might not play my game until tomorrow.
I am playing tonight. I'll play tomorrow.
Probably.
Yeah, I think I'll play tomorrow too. Well, that's all I got, guys. So I appreciate the time as always.
All right. Thank you so much, Rob. Thanks for everything you've done for both shows, obviously, and very much looking forward to that. Next week we'll have to make up for the fact that I've been complaining about the fact that we only have 1 show a week instead of 3. Now next week we'll have 2 shows in 3 days. So
I know it's gonna be insane, isn't it? That's gonna be wild.
I'm so fired up. And now remind me, will Shane be on the Saturday show?
Oh, of course. Yeah. That's part of the reason why I haven't settled on a time yet. Because I have no, well, part of it is because I have no clue when we're actually going to go live, but I know that Shane's available for that, and I know, but I just don't know what time. I know you all are available. I just don't know what time, because I don't know what time the quarterbacks go, and I'm not going to know until Tuesday when they're going.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, anyway, I'm looking forward to that very much. Obviously, the quarterbacks is the only position that I really pay a ton of attention to when it comes to the combine. I don't really
And
pay
this quarterback class is awful. It's
really
awful. It's
put some respect on Ty Simpson's name.
He's terrible.
But
I have him as honestly, he's probably going to go in the first round, and I have him as like a 4th round quarterback. I don't think he's very good at all.
Oh, okay. So here's the thing. So you grade guys based on where you think they should go. Okay. So yeah, because I expect that. I honestly don't think he gets past the Rams' 2nd pick in the 1st round.
I think he should go. I think honestly, realistically, I don't think he should be a 1st round pick. He's too much of a project to be a 1st rounder. I think he's a mid-2nd. He's way too much of a project.
But if you're a product, doesn't a 1st rounder kind of make sense, because then you get that extra 5th round pick or extra 5th year player option?
I don't want that because here's the thing. There's depth everywhere at other positions other than quarterback. I wouldn't waste a quarterback.
Prediction from Kenny says Jeremiah Love to the Jets at 2. I have Jeremiah Love going to the Chiefs, but
yeah, I think that's too high. Running backs are a dime a dozen.
Not only that, but when was the last running back going in the top 10 that actually worked? I would even say that Saquon going to the Giants at 2 was
So it's Saquon and it's Elliott.
It was I think it was Bijan Robinson, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Bijan, of course, because he was 3rd, but he deserved it because he was special. Because he was special. Bijan coming out, we knew it was special.
Bijan was 8th.
8th, yeah, no, Bijan. We knew when Bijan was coming.
There's been at least one other one.
Well, I was thinking.
Remember, AP was 7th all the way back in 07.
Oh no, I'm thinking like.
Oh, Genty at 6, right? But Genty also special.
I hated that pick.
I understand that why we didn't like it, but I don't like it, but I get it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't get it. I think putting him using your first round pick on that when you have no offensive line to help to hold them up, I think made no sense.
Yeah, but it was also Pete Carroll, and he wanted to definitely could have that same ability down the line, but whatever. Anyway, I'm excited to talk about the draft. We're gonna run through all of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Fournette and McCaffrey, that's who it was.
Right, Leonard Fournette, bro. Playoff, but Buccaneers playoff Fournette was something, man.
Fournette and McCaffrey. I knew I was forgetting somebody.
Well, playoff Leonard Fournette was stupid, man.
That 6 to 8 range.
Love can be special. Love can be special in the right situation. I think you look at Kansas City.
That's why I said Kansas City, because I think that he at least has the capacity there to. I think they have enough of offensive protection to make it make sense over there. And again, I mean, now it looks like they're going to not have Rashee Rice, so that's even more.
That goes.
Yeah. So, but
yeah, I would say that, and then I'm hearing New Orleans too. Keep an eye on New Orleans for him, which I think makes sense. Anyway,
it does make sense. I mean, Kellen Moore is the coach there. I think that he fits there.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about this more next week and into Saturday. But yeah, really
sorry, I've done like 9 mock drafts already.
That's good. We I mean, I'm excited for mock draft season. I'm just now reading up on the prospects because the Olympics are about to end. I just now have like a few days to finally grind on these guys. So that's good. So
we'll talk about the grading also, because I'm curious on that. We'll talk about that off the show.
Well, the grading, I like to see what the consensus is. I mostly just read a lot of mock drafts and say, okay, what ability does this guy have? What ability does this guy have? But I also, for certain guys, especially quarterbacks, I already have a sense on where I have them, like very early on. But yeah, so that's how it is when it comes to grading. I just think about what's the consensus for a guy, what's the team fit, what
Well, that's what's
round.
interesting to me. You said Ty Simpson, you had a 4th round grade on. I was like, where are you getting that from?
Because to me, he's a 4th round quarterback.
But
Even
that's my
5th
question.
round.
That's my question is how do you get that? Because there's
only one quarterback that should go in the first 3 rounds, and that is Mendoza. Everyone else should go below that. This quarterback class is terrible. It's not good.
So so saying that you wouldn't take one on days 1 and 2, that's how you have him at 4?
Yeah, I wouldn't take a
Okay.
single quarterback. Mendoza's going 1. I don't love Mendoza, but I get it, especially with Kubiak's system. Everyone else, I have no interest in at all. None. Honestly, 0. Even because most of them to me are just projects with no upside. None. They're just backups.
If he would have came out, I would have said Trinidad Chambliss. But
yeah, if he Chambliss, I think would have been a 2nd round play for people, but he's not coming out, nor do I think he should. We'll see how the legal process goes there, because obviously, if the legal process goes in a weird way, he might sneak in there. But again, I have no idea what the rules are. But he's not coming. He's playing at Ole Miss. Yeah. So no, this class is terrible. There's no reason, honestly, unless you want a backup quarterback and you're not the Raiders with Mendoza, don't even touch quarterbacks. You're better off getting like if you're the Dolphins, go get Malik Willis and don't even question it. Get Malik Willis and move on.
Especially because next year's class is loaded.
Yeah, exactly. There's no point. Like Kirk Cousins, get him on a cheap deal. Malik Willis to Miami obviously is a match made in heaven.
You like Diego Pavia, didn't you?
I like Pavia, but I like him as a round 4 guy. Late round 3.
I was gonna say he's probably a 6th rounder.
Yeah, I mean, I have him higher just because I thought he had a good Senior Bowl, but I again, he's also a project. Look at his size.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the guys, of course, who performed at the Senior Bowl, but also, because I got to really watch them. Sorry. But I'm like, these guys aren't. They're nothing that we saw at the Senior Bowl with the quarterbacks. When we go, this is a franchise quarterback. No, nothing, not at all. So yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that more next week. Anything else before we go, guys?
I mean, I could debate quarterbacks with you all night long, but
yeah. Well, wait till Saturday. We're gonna do that.
I said I could. I didn't say I'm going to.
Yeah.
Plus, my mom just got home.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, everybody. Have a great night.
Thank you. Have a good night, y'all. Also, and I'll give one more happy birthday, the one day belated to Brandon, and happy birthday also today to was it your mother or your grandmother?
Grandmother.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Happy birthday to Brandon's grandmother.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a good night, y'all.
See you.